How's going guys, welcome to the channel. In this video we are gonna see, what if Naruto got Harem Rouge, Amy and Blaze. Part 3. If you wants to see awesome fanfiction like this, don't forget to subscribe. Now let's get into the video. Naruto was falling down to South Island before he used his telekinesis to land down, as he looks around in shock and disbelief. He then notices a bunch of badniks kidnapping animals, making him frown seriously before he begins to destroy them, and then runs ahead. Yesterday's rules are simply loose today. The best goal is to break them. Naruto is running across the zones of South Island before he stopped and was face to face with Eggman Nega, who was fuming at the sight of him. Naruto smirks and does a spin dash and charged at him. Later, Naruto has the 6 Chaos Emeralds as they vanished, and large flowers appeared on South Island. He grins as he turns to the tornado. If I don't keep running. There's no other meaning. The scene changes to show Naruto landing the tornado on West Side Island as Tails comes flying towards him, but he sneezes as he changed between his fox form and human form before taking on his fox form. An explosion is heard, making Tails jump up as they turned and saw Eggman Nega laughing evilly before he flies away. It's a punk philosophy. Naruto grins at Tails as he gave him thumbs up, making him nod happily, and the two raced forward across the zones. I rhythm is a 2-time rhythm. The scene changes to show Naruto inside the Death Egg as he battled against Robo Naruto before destroying him. The Death Egg shook and Naruto heard something behind him. He looks back him and saw the Death Egg robot getting ready to stomp him. The scenery instantly becomes countless lines. The wind envelops me. Naruto grins as the Chaos Emeralds appeared around him before he absorbed them and transformed into Super Naruto. He grins up at the Death Egg robot before he charged at him and out of the Death Egg as it exploded. He winks and gives a thumbs up to the viewers. Inside-outside attack. Surpass everything altogether. I won't let anyone or anything get ahead of me. The scene changed to show Naruto running across a green field. Something caught his attention as he stops and looks up, seeing a planet chained to a mountain. He runs up to the mountain till he was at the top. He spin dashed down the mountain before he jumped off the ramp and landed on the chain as he ran on it, heading towards the planet. Inside-outside, go. Sonic. Everything altogether, yes. Sonic. Watch out and have a nice or similar. That's right, both are by the skin of your teeth. Blaze is riding on a boat, looking at the horizon with a soft smile present on her face. At the Stardust Speedway zone on Little Planet, the masked boy watches on as Naruto and Metal Naruto were racing on a track. Amy Rose is seen crying for head at the end of the track, while Eggman Nega chases after them with a laser beam on his Eggmobile. Naruto soon got in front of Metal Naruto as he reached his hand out to Amy. Throw boredom away. And start running. The Death Egg is seen falling from the sky and landing on Angel Island, causing it to fall the ocean. The guardian of the island, Knuckles, sees it falling. He runs over to where the Death Egg landed to investigate. SONIC, go. Pictures are shown. The first is Amy hugging a blushing Naruto happily. The second is Naruto and Tails are flying to Angel Island. The third is Naruto fighting against Knuckles. The fourth is Blaze running across the jungle. The last pic is the masked boy leaning on the altar of the emeralds. The scene changes to show the Master Emerald with the Chaos Emerald surrounding it. The Chaos Emeralds then transform into Super Emeralds. SONIC, go. More pictures are shown. The first is Dr. Nega taking the Master Emerald from its shrine, with Knuckles grabbing onto his Eggmobile, while Naruto and Tails chase after them. The second pic is Naruto and Tails running through the Sky Sanctuary, seeing the Death Egg rising in the background. The third pic is Naruto up in space as he looks back at a giant mech with the Master Emerald inside it, a comical shocked look on his face. The last pic is the mural from the Hidden Palace zone. The scene changes to show Naruto giving a mighty roar as his body started to glow in a rainbow color. Go, 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 let's go. The silhouette of Naruto's new transformation is seen, with his back turned to the readers, a rainbow aura covering his being. The camera zooms in on his back as he looks over his shoulder, showing his now purple eye. Ultimate 6. Naruto the Ninja. Journey across the South Island. Chapter cover. Naruto stood grinning as he held a finger up as though he was shaking it. Green Hill Zone was in the background. Based on US Sonic the Hedgehog cover. Where in the hell am I? Naruto yelled. His voice echoed out across the entire island as many animals went into hiding. Naruto continued to look around. Why does this place look so familiar? That's when he saw the brown checkered ground, which made his eyes widen. This place. Memories of the day he met the 3 hedgehogs flashed in his mind. It was the moment when Sonic changed the scene of his mind that brought familiarity to this place. This is Green Hill. From Sonic's world. Naruto exclaimed before he gasped. Wait, am I in Sonic's world? He shook his head. No, that's impossible. The rings and Chaos Emeralds are from Sonic's world, but they're in my world now, meaning that it's gone. Naruto looks around. So what's going on? He begins to walk around, exploring the place. Wow. Naruto said as he touched a flower, smiling. No wonder Sonic chose this place in my mind. It's beautiful here. Still, I can't believe Green Hill is real. And it's here in my world. Wait till the others hear about this, especially Blaze. He stops as his eyes widen. Blaze. Now that he's somewhere unknown and away from the others, he can use this chance to try and find her. Or at least a clue that can point him in the right direction. He reached into his pocket to take out his starch arm, only to blink. Huh? Naruto pat his pocket again to make sure his mind wasn't playing any tricks on him. What? He touched all around his pockets and he couldn't feel his starch arm anywhere. No. It's gone. What happened to it? Naruto looks around the grass to see if it dropped out of his pocket, only to see that it wasn't nowhere. His eyes widen as the image of the masked boy came into his head. Shit. The fourth Hokage's legacy cursed through grit teeth. That guy in the mask. When he blasted me in the sky, it must have fallen out. He sighed in annoyance. Damn it. I hope Kakashi-sensei and the others got it. His eyes widened. Oh shoot. I gotta think of a way back home. Sensei and the others might be worried sick about me. His eyes widened further. Oh, I almost forgot. The Chaos Emeralds. Naruto closed his eyes to try and summon them, but he couldn't. He couldn't feel their power. They're gone. No way. He remembered when the three emeralds came out and formed a portal behind him after he was blasted away. Did they disappear after the portal was formed? If that's true, then that could only mean that the Chaos Emeralds was the one who brought him here and not the masked boy. So then why did they send me here? Naruto asked. Before he could think this further, he heard noises not too far from his location. He quickly runs there really fast and his eyes widened when he saw a man and his machines trying to capture little animals. But these animals were different. Well, it was true they are animals, they just look more. Naruto didn't know how to describe it. They just look different than the ones he saw. Naruto turns to the man with the rotund egg-shaped body. He wore red pants and leggings which fade to black. He also wore yellow shoes that has black stripes on it, white gloves, a bald head, pince-nez visors with blue lenses, a bright pink nose, and a very bushy grey mustache. He also wears a black shirt, the sleeves being yellow, with an oversized yellow collar and white buttons on his pants. He was sitting in a floating mobile machine. Naruto's eyes widened with an expression of disbelief. Dr. Eggman, he spoke in a sync voice of Sonic, Shadow and Silver. He blinks in confusion before placing a hand on his chest. Huh? Why did he know that man's name? He never met the guy. And why did he hear the hedgehogs' voices when he spoke the name? But he looks like Dr. Eggman, except he looks older. Naruto doesn't even know who the hell this Dr. Eggman guy is. Yet somehow he does. Get back here, you little critters. Dr. Eggman laughed as he chased after them. All I want is to put you inside my badniks and make them powerful. It just made the animals cry out as they ran faster, though some of them were captured by his robots. Not on my watch. Naruto said, ignoring his previous thoughts for now, as he did a spin dash and charged at the robots. Yes. Good, my little badniks. Gather them. Dr. Eggman exclaimed in excitement before he heard something. He turns to it and his eyes widened as he saw a yellow blur come past him, spinning his mobile in place as he screamed, not hearing the destruction of his precious robots. Once he stopped, eggs were floating around him. He shook his head and a shocked expression appeared on his face. What? His robots were destroyed as pieces were all over the place. My badniks. Who would dare destroy my precious badniks? That would be me. Eggman turned around and his eyes widened as a child was there, arms crossed, a glare on his face and the animals hiding behind him. What? Who are you? My name is Naruto Uzumaki, the world's ultimate ninja and future Hokage. Naruto introduced himself. Now what do you think you're doing, egghead? Eggman raised an eyebrow at the ninja part, but a tick mark formed on his head at the nickname. Egghead, how dare you? He stood up and bowed mockingly. My name is Nega. Dr. Eggman Nega, the greatest scientific genius in the world. If you please. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Eggman Nega. At least he got the name right, but that still leaves on how he knows it when he haven't met him, and for some reason he feels like groaning at his self-proclaimed title. Plus his name was mouthful. Sure, whatever you say, egghead. Now what are you doing to these animals? Why, I need these animals to power up my badniks. Nega then glared at him. But because of your interference and destroying my badniks, I lost them. Yeah? Well, good thing I did show up. Naruto said, glaring at him. Is that why you're here? Just to kidnap the animals and put them inside your robots? Oh no, my boy. Well, that's just a bonus. Nega said as Naruto narrowed his eyes. You see, I came to South Island to find and gather the legendary miracle gems, the Chaos Emeralds. Naruto's eyes widened. He knows about the Chaos Emeralds. And they're all on this island, but that's impossible. Nobody in this world knows about them yet. They didn't even show up that long. There's no way. There's no way that's possible. Him knowing Eggman's name, that strange feeling his chest, Eggman Nega himself knowing about the Chaos Emeralds. Could Nega actually be? Ah, it would seem you know about the emeralds. Nega said as he noticed Naruto's silence. Yeah. And what if I do? Naruto crossed his arms. So you do know about them. Nega smirked. That's good. Good for me, that is. Now tell me, where exactly can I find them on this island? Naruto blinks as he stares at Dr. Nega. I don't know. What? Dude, I got separated from my team and was teleported here against my will just now. Like I don't even know where the hell this island is. Naruto deadpanned. Nega was silent before he coughed. Well, that doesn't matter. He grinned. Because once I discover the emerald's location, I will use their powers to take over the world, or better yet I'll destroy it. Like hell I'll let that happen. Naruto shouted as he threw several shurikens at Nega, but his mobile had a shield around it and it deflected the shurikens. Ho 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 ho. Nega laughed. Sorry ninja boy, but you don't have a choice in the matter. He then flies away. I'll make sure to destroy your village first. Naruto growled as Eggman Nega disappeared. So he's gonna use the emeralds to destroy this world, huh? Nega definitely don't know who he's messing with. He grins confidently. Stopping an evil man from taking over or destroying the world. This sounds like a good excuse to have some adventure and save the world at the same time. Heh. Okay Eggy. Let's go. Music. Green Hill's own Sonic the Hedgehog. Naruto runs down a straightforward path, crossing a bridge as he gathered some of the rings that were floating around. He stopped as he saw a fish badnik jump out of the water and tried to get a bite out of him. Hey. Naruto used his homing attack and destroyed it, along with the second one that jumped out, releasing the animals that were trapped inside. Okay, if I see any badniks, destroy them. Naruto told himself as he continued on his way. Naruto made it to a hilltop before he used his spin dash to make it to the top, collecting some rings in THR process. Man, this place is beautiful, despite the fact that these robots are here. Naruto commented before he punched a flying badnik, destroying it. He grinned as he saw a loop, making him smirk. Booyah. He went through the loop, making him cheer. The others are gonna be so very jealous when they hear about this. Naruto laughed. He looks ahead, seeing the robots were now coming at him. He grins as he used his quickly runs past them in an instant. The next, they exploded. Now I need to find out where to find the Chaos Emeralds on this island. Naruto said as he ran forward, grabbing a few rings. He used Saw Spring, and he jumped on it as it launched him up on a moving platform. He looks down, seeing that there was a pit full of spikes, making him wince. Do not want to go down there. Naruto said as he used his telekinesis to move faster before he got off the platform and took off running. Now back to what I was talking about. The emeralds could be anywhere. What the? Naruto stopped talking as he saw a floating giant ring right next to a signpost with a picture of Eggman Nega on it. Okay, that's weird. The giant ring is weird and the signpost is ugly. I'll fix that. He said as he ran past the sign, making it spin in place. It stopped as Naruto's image appeared on it. There we go. Naruto turns to the ring. Now, what's up with this giant ring? I wonder. He jumps to it and the moment he did, the ring transported him. Music. Special stage Sonic the Hedgehog. Whoa. Naruto screamed as he was floating in an unknown place. He looks up at the sky as it keeps changing shapes. He looks around and saw he was inside a crystal maze and it keeps spinning around. What the heck is this place? Naruto asked as he looked around. He gasped as he sensed a Chaos Emerald nearby. A Chaos Emerald is in here. I get it. The Chaos Emeralds must be inside this secret zone and Nega doesn't know about it. Naruto grins as he used his spin jump to make his way through the rotating crystal maze. He navigated through the maze. He was surprised to find rings inside there, so he made a grab for them while also following the signal to the emerald. Naruto found the emerald, but it was hidden behind some colored blocks. So he used his homing attack to destroy the blocks and grab the emerald. Yes. Naruto cheered as he held a blue Chaos Emerald in his hand. He looks around him before he gasped as the maze spun faster and a bright light appeared making him cover his eyes. Music ends. Naruto opened his eyes and saw he was back in Green Hill Zone. He looks down at his hand and saw the Chaos Emerald. Okay, now I know that the emeralds are in that secret zone. All I gotta do is just find those giant rings and they'll take me there. Naruto said as the emerald disappeared within him. Naruto heard something and he looks ahead to find Eggman Nega ahead of him. Nega. He shouted as he gave chase. Nega turned around and he had shocked expression on his face. You. How did you get here quickly? I'm just too fast for you, Doc. Naruto exclaimed as he jumped up and attacked him from behind. Ow. Hey. Naga yelled. Alright boy, if it's a fight you want then it's a fight you'll get. Music. Boss Sonic the Hedgehog. The giant brown checkered ball came out of the bottom of the mobile. Naga then swung the giant ball around, hoping to smash Naruto with it, but he managed to dodge. Naruto jumps on a platform and jumps off of it as his hands was covered in sparks. Chaos Spear. He launched a barrage of yellow spears at Naga's mobile as it shook from the damage. Naga spun his mobile really fast as he charged at Naruto. Whoa. Naruto quickly dodged out of the way as the ball destroyed the platform he was standing on. He watched as the mobile did a flip and the ball was coming at him, wanting to smash him. The ultimate ninja dodged again as he jumped on the ball and used his homing attack to hit the mobile multiple times. That does it. Naga pushed a button and a second ball came out. He then charged at Naruto so he can smash him with both balls. Naruto grinned beepily as he easily used his reflex and acrobatic skills to easily dodge them. He jumps on one of the balls and began to mock Naga by making goofy faces at him, making a vein pop out of the mad scientist's head. Little brat. Naga's eyes widened as Naruto easily caught a ball in his hand before he pulled it out of the mobile. What? Heh. Catch egg face. Naruto threw the ball at the mobile, causing it to be badly damaged. Because of that, many explosions were seen as the mobile got badly damaged and the second ball got destroyed. This isn't over yet boy. Eggman Naga swore as he flew away. Music. Green Hill's own Sonic the Hedgehog. Believe me. This is far from over. Naruto said seriously as Naga vanished from sight. He looks ahead and saw a large capsule. The hell is a capsule doing here? Naruto asked. He runs to it and examined. He looks up at the switch on top of it as he jumps on it. The capsule exploded and the animals came out of it. So that's it. Naruto realized. This capsule was used as a containment for those little animals. That way, Naga would take the animals and put them inside his robots. Now I know what else to find on this island. He looks up and another giant ring appeared. Time for the next emerald. Naruto jumps inside the ring as it vanished. Music. Marble's own Sonic the Hedgehog. Naruto jumped out of the giant ring as it vanished. 2 down, 5 to go. He then runs ahead a path as he looks around at the scenery, seeing some ancient marble buildings. What's up with this oh shit? Naruto quickly jumped to a platform to avoid getting melted alive by the lava. Damn I did not oh come on. The platform he was on began to burn itself as it was floating in the lava. But because of his weight, the lava began to burn the grass. Shit. Naruto jumped on more platforms till he made it out the lava river as he landed on the ground. Whew, that was close. He looks down at the lava. I gotta be more careful. Who knows if more lava are around. He turns around and runs off. Music end. Hidden Leaf Village. What? A shocked Hiruzen asked. Naruto is gone, Iruka exclaimed. Squad 7 has returned from their mission and Kakashi gave the report. Hiruzen was disappointed in himself for not realizing about that and was slightly disappointed at the squad that didn't return immediately. But then again, Naruto was the one who convinced them to keep going because Tazuna needed help and he wasn't going to just abandon those who needed, which made Hiruzen inwardly smile proudly. That boy has such a heart of gold. However, Hiruzen noticed their missing teammate and he asked them where Naruto was. Iruka thought out loud that Naruto was probably at the ramen stand, but the mood suddenly dropped as he and the Hokage saw the expressions on Sasuke and Sakura's face, while Kakashi had a deep frown on his face. Kakashi told Sasuke and Sakura to head home and he explained to them what happened to Naruto as they were on their way here. Yes. Kakashi nodded. I don't know how it happened, but 1 second he was there, but the next he wasn't. He reached into his pocket and took out the gold ring and star charm. He set them in front of the Hokage. This was all that was left. The Hokage looked at the gold ring with a slightly confused expression before he looked at the star charm, making his eyes saddened as he remembered younger Naruto rushing into his office and introducing his new best friend. Iruka looked at the items as well and he had a confused expression. Where did Naruto find that gold ring? And that star charm, why does it look that's right? It's that charm that Naruto had brought with during those days at the academy. He remembered how Naruto had stopped pulling pranks for some reason and would simply stare at that charm, a dead look in his eyes, during the whole class, not paying attention to any lessons that were given. And when someone tried to take it from him, be it an adult or child, civilian or shinobi, he would violently attack them, leading some to go to the hospital. Hell, even Iruka tried to take it at some point and Naruto viciously attacked him in front of the whole class. Naruto even tried to stab him in the eye with his own kunai before he got held back by a nearby instructor. Only to prove bad when Naruto almost broke the man's arm off. But before Naruto could do that, he saw the charm on the floor and let him go to get it. He walked back to his desk as though nothing happened, shocking them and the whole class. Iruka still remembers them. Those cold, lifeless eyes of Naruto's. Those were the eyes of someone who had lost someone very important to them and was angry at the whole world. Whenever Naruto was like that, it literally took several Chunin, along with little Chunin, to come and calm him down before the Hokage came in, but it just kept getting worse as Naruto was moving all over the place, taking them down. And this kid was still in the academy. But then again, like before in the classroom, there were times that after Naruto is finished attacking whoever took the star charm, he would pick it up and walk away, glaring angrily at anyone who would dare try to take it. Iruka shivered from those memories as he remembered the rumors going around, saying that when Naruto attacks those that touched his star charm, he had red eyes with a slit pupil. They even said he had faint red chakra flowing out of him. Iruka won't lie, but he himself saw those eyes as well, he just didn't want to admit it. Lord Hokage, I have a question. Kakashi spoke up. And this might be bizarre. Yes, what is it? Hiruzen asked, curious about this bizarre question. Well, is there someone who has the ability to stop time? Kakashi asked. Hiruzen and Iruka blinked at the question. Your pardon? Hiruzen asked. I can't explain it, but before Naruto vanished, we had felt this strange sudden feeling. Like the air around us just shifted. When the feeling vanished we saw Naruto was gone in an instant. Kakashi told him. I saw Naruto's things drop from the sky and pick them up before looking up. I saw a blue portal in the sky before it vanished. Sasuke and Sakura can vouch for me as they saw it too. I think that's what happened to Naruto. Hiruzen was confused now. A blue portal appearing in the sky. He then had a look of understanding. And you think that whoever made that portal in the sky to make Naruto disappear had the ability to stop time to do so? It's all I could think of. Kakashi admitted. Hiruzen hummed. A shinobi with the ability to stop time? That's just impossible. There was no shinobi in recorded history with the ability to stop time itself. But Kakashi was right. It was the only logical explanation. Plus as years go the shinobi world is changing after all, with young shinobi with new amazing gifts that's never been seen before are popping up. So it's possible. Lord Third. Please allow me and a squad to go out and search for Naruto. Iruka pleaded. As much as it pains me to say this, Hiruzen started. I'm afraid I must decline. But Lord Third. Think about it for a second, Iruka. Kakashi spoke up. We are dealing with an unknown shinobi who probably has the ability to stop time itself. This same shinobi is also the one who transported Naruto somewhere far away. Kakashi's right. Hiruzen nodded. Naruto could be anywhere around the world. For all we know, he could be in another village or another country, maybe some even place else that we have no knowledge of. In the spring yard zone, Naruto was in his spinball as he was forcibly being bounced back and forth between the bumpers. Achoo. Naruto suddenly sneezed as he got out of his spinball but was still being bounced. This is ridiculous. Oof. We also have no clue of his whereabouts or whoever it was that took him. Lord Third, Iruka said, eyes widened. Are you saying that we should just? No. Absolutely not. The third exclaimed in anger, making Iruka flinch slightly. He sighed. I'm saying, we just have to hope that Naruto finds his way back home to the village. Or Kakashi said as he stared at the star charm. Wherever Naruto ended up, he might be using this chance to try and find his childhood friend. Hiruzen's eyes widened while Iruka had a confused expression. What are you talking? Iruka's eyes widened as memories came flooding in his head. He briefly recalled seeing Naruto playing with someone, a girl, a long time ago. She would even be in front of the academy when the day was over and the two would leave together. I see, Hiruzen said sadly, a knowing expression on his face. So he told you about her? Yes. Kakashi nodded, looking down. Naruto really miss her? Of course he does. Hiruzen smiled softly as he picked up the purple star. After all, she was the first person to accept Naruto for who he is, and the two of them formed an incredible that I haven't seen in years. So then that girl from before really was Naruto's? Iruka asked. It actually did make sense, now that he thought about it. Naruto looked very excited to leave whenever the school day ended. He always assumed he was off pulling more of those pranks, but now to think that Naruto actually made a friend and it was that girl from before filled Iruka up with joy. His eyes widened in realization. Wait a second, if that girl from before was Naruto's friend, then that means Iruka looked at the star charm. That star charm? Yes. That was a gift Naruto got from his friend. Kakashi said. On his birthday to be exact. Hiruzen added. Before she vanished 2 days later. That made Iruka silently gasp in surprise. I see, he said softly, understanding shone in his eyes as he turns to Hiruzen. Then Naruto's violent behavior from back then. That's right. The god of shinobi sighs and tilts his hat down. To be honest with you both, because of that violent behavior, Naruto was this close to releasing the 9 tails. Iruka gasped while Kakashi narrowed his eye. I know this because I and a few others saw it firsthand when he unleashed its power on our shinobi when they tried to stop him. An image of a feral Naruto covered in red chakra appeared in Hiruzen's mind. He picks up a star charm, showing it to the other two, or more specifically showing it to Iruka. It's thanks to this star charm that we managed to calm Naruto down and cease the Nine Tails' influence on him. But because of the villagers and some of the children taking it in front of him or even talking about her, it kept getting worse. And I'm one of them. Iruka thought sadly as he looked down. If I recall or third, didn't you went out somewhere with Naruto when it started to get worse? Kakashi asked curiously. Yes. Me and Naruto had a little heart-to-heart. Hiruzen smiled. After that, he returned to being the happy ball of sunshine that we know and love, determined to finding his friend when he becomes a ninja and reach his dream. Iruka looked back at the item. So that's why Naruto was so protective of that star charm and became the way he was. It was a gift from his precious friend. On his birthday no less. It also explained that dead look in his eyes from back then and why he was so quiet, which wasn't Naruto-like at all. His best friend had vanished. Because of it, Naruto must have been deeply hurt and saddened by it and tried to leave the village to go find her, only to be brought back. He couldn't even imagine what Naruto had gone through. The first friend he ever made, the bond he formed with her, just vanishing all of a sudden. No wonder Naruto was like that and became violent to everybody, him included. And now he's out there in the unknown and is no doubt looking for her. Iruka looks up at the sky from the window. Please be safe, Naruto. South Island. Labyrinth Zone. Music. Labyrinth Zone. Sonic the Hedgehog. Naruto held his breath as he continued to run underwater. Out of all the zones I've been through, this is probably the hardest one. He thought with a half-lidded expression. He saw a fish robot charging at him before he used his spin attack to destroy it. He'll admit though the last two zones he went to were interesting, especially the Spring Yard Zone, though that zone was really annoying. The Marble Zone was extremely hot, probably because of the amount of lava that was there. Plus he had to underground at one point and he used his chakra to stick to the ceiling because of the lava river that was there. But he managed to get out underground and found a giant ring along with the same signpost like in Green Hill Zone. So he changed the signpost and entered the giant ring. He got the third Chaos Emerald after that and he managed to find Eggman Nega. And he had a robot that he uses to spit fire at him. But hey, it was easy and he managed to destroy it. Nega escaped again and he another one of those capsules there. He destroyed it releasing the animals and jumped to the giant ring. With the fourth emerald in hand, Naruto found himself in the Spring Yard Zone. The zone was fun to be in, it was just annoying because of those bumper thingies that were all over the place. But hey, he managed to make through in the end and did the same thing he did in the last two zones. Changed the signpost, entered the giant ring and got the fifth emerald. Then he fought Nega, destroyed the capsule, and exited the zone. And that's how he found himself in the most difficult zone. The Labyrinth Zone. Naruto thought it would be easy just like the rest of the zones. But he was wrong. He was so very wrong. He found himself trapped inside this maze-like zone and it was starting to annoy him. He found a signpost, but there was no giant ring, so he continued onwards. Naruto's face beginning to turn purple and his eyes turned comically. Air. Air. I need air. He looks and saw a large bubble. He quickly runs to it and gulped it in his mouth. Whew. That was close. The ultimate ninja looked up and his eyes widened when he saw the surface. Thank you God. He jumps on the platforms above his head, destroying the robots. Naruto jumps out the water and lands on a platform, soaked to the bone. He spun around really fast before he stopped. He was dry now, but his hair was an afro. I hate this zone. Naruto said blankly. I really do. He shook his head as his hair returned to normal. He heard noises above him, making him look up. Nega. He jumps all the way up and attacked Nega's eggmobile, as he called it. He landed a direct hit from below causing it to shake. What? Nega looked down in shock as he saw Naruto using his telekinesis to float, watching him as he went higher. No. Not you again. Yes, me again. Naruto grinned as he used his homing attack to attack Nega again, making the eggmobile shake again. Knock it off. Nega exclaimed. Oof. His eggmobile got hit again. Can't you see I'm trying to escape? Escape what? This butt kicking. Naruto grinned as he attacked again. No escape that. Nega pointed below them, making Naruto look down as his eyes widened comically. The whole passage was flooding below them. And it was flooding really fast. Holy crap. Naruto exclaimed. He could clearly see that was no air bubbles, meaning that if he were to fall in, then it's game over for him. Naruto looked up at Nega and was about to attack him again, but stopped when he had to avoid a spike coming from one of the platforms in the way. Another reason why he hates this zone, traps. All these goddamn traps everywhere. First, this zone was a maze, then there were traps, and now the place is about to be flooded. This zone was a pain in the ass. Ho 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 ho. Naga yelled as he disappeared from sight. Hey. Naruto quickly gave chase, making sure he avoided the spears and fire-spitting statues while making sure to stay away from the water. Naruto was almost close to Naga and he attacked him once more, making his egg-mobile explode as he screamed while Naruto landed on the platform. Nuo. You'll pay for this. Naga yelled as he escaped the passageway, with Naruto following after him. Naruto was staring up at Naga before rockets came out of his egg-mobile, making his eyes widen, and Naga blasted away past a capsule. The man's machine sure moves fast. Naruto commented before he smirked. But I move faster. He jumps on the capsule, destroying it and releasing the animals before he jumped off it and dashed to the next zone. And hopefully more of those giant rings. Music ends. Meanwhile. Soul Kingdom. You look beautiful as always, Princess Blaze. A maid said as she walked right next to her. Blaze sighed and looked down at her attire. She wore a purple ball gown with a petal overskirt, a ruffled white petticoat, and long triangular sleeves. Of course. She said. Blaze and the young maid were walking to the throne room, the maid with a smile and Blaze with an indifferent expression. It was time to see what her father want. She usually likes to be alone, but she thought having company would be nice for a change. I do wonder what the king would want though. The maid continued, looking up curiously. It isn't like him to call you. And he looked really happy too. Blaze sighed but felt her lips twitch upwards slightly. This maid is just too cheery. A serious frown came afterwards. She was right. Why did her father seem happy to be calling her? A little too happy to say the least. It's most likely a marriage proposal. Since she's at that age, it would be time for her to find a suitable partner for her. It's been that way for a long time. But she knew that those suitors would only want to marry her because they wanted to have them. The soul emeralds. The greatest treasure of her kingdom. Them along with the jeweled scepter. Each soul emerald possesses unlimited amounts of great power and are sought out by heroes and villains alike. It is said that the soul emeralds have the ability to transform one's thoughts into power, but is unknown to what extent, which is why many want them. However, that was many years ago. During times of war, before the shinobi world was even born, the Soul Kingdom has been cut off from the rest of the world. It doesn't even exist on the map. After all, during those times many people wanted to have power to win those wars or have it for their own selfish gain. So they sought out the soul emeralds. But it never came to that. The reason? It's because for many centuries the soul emeralds always had a guardian to protect them. And those guardians. They were of royal blood to the kingdom. As the centuries passed, a guardian has fallen, either by dying to protect the soul emeralds from outsiders or by old age. But that wasn't the end. As the royal lineage continued on for centuries, so has a new guardian, and they continue to protect the emeralds to this day. And who was the current guardian? It was Princess Blaze herself. As per custom, the princess of the kingdom has held duty of guarding the soul emeralds, meaning that Blaze's mother, her grandmother and those former guardians of the past were princesses when they guarded the soul emeralds before their time came. After her grandmother passed before she was born, her mother was an appointed guardian and she took the role very seriously, as well as her role as queen. Just like her. But sadly, her time has passed a long time ago and her father, the king, took it upon himself to guard the soul emeralds. However, due to him using a very special power of his, one that Blaze has not inherited due to her connection with the soul emeralds, he aged faster than normally. This gift also helped him create a barrier around the kingdom, so that way no outsider can know of their existence. However, the barrier is starting to weaken each day. After all, the outside world is ruled by shinobi, assassins who move in the shadows and use an energy known as chakra to do amazing techniques. If those shinobi find out about their kingdom and the soul emeralds, then war would break out throughout the nation. And he didn't want that to happen. And despite Blaze being the appointed guardian, he never wanted his daughter to suffer such a burden, especially after her mother died. So he will protect the soul emeralds. Until his last breath. We're here, your highness. The maid interrupting Blaze's thoughts. The two were in front of a door which led to the throne room. Blaze turns to the maid. Thank you for escorting me here. She said. Of course, your highness. The maid bowed before she turned and left. Blaze rolled her eyes in annoyance before she turned to the door and entered. She looks up at the throne. There in front of her sat her father, the king. He has gray hair with tints of purple in there, along with a beard. He wears a white suit with thin black stripes and a red cape and white shoes. He wore a crown and by his side was Crane. He smiled softly as he saw his daughter. Blaze. Hello, father. Blaze smiled softly as she bowed to him. Is there a reason why you have called for me? Yes. The king nodded as he stood up, grabbing his cane. He walks down as Blaze had a worried frown. Walk with me, child. He walks past her as she turns around and walked right next to him. As you already know, you are the current guardian of the Soul Emeralds. 7 gems with unlimited powers beyond the which we have ever seen. Yes, I know of this. Blaze nodded. But right now, I decided to ignore the customs of the kingdom and to protect the emeralds. And once I pass, then the barrier I placed around the kingdom will disappear, letting the shinobi world know of our existence. The king continued. I have been thinking about this long and hard, and I believe it's time for us to become allies to these shinobi. Father? Blaze asked in a surprised tone. However, as of now there are shinobi villages and countries out there with a corrupted leader, and I worry that we might make friends with the wrong people. The king said sadly, before he smiled at his daughter. That is until now I remembered. Blaze blinked. The king reached into his pocket and took out a picture, which made Blaze gasp. It was a picture of her and Naruto together. A long time ago, when you ran away after your mother passed, you somehow ended up in a shinobi village. You told me this was called the village hidden in the leaf, correct? Why yes, father. Again I must apologize for my behavior back then. Blaze said as she looked down, but the king shook his head. Don't be, my dear. In fact, I'm really happy. The king said as he looked at the picture. You made a friend in that village. One whom you formed a bond with and can trust. I believe you told me that he was the first person to accept you as you are despite your gift, yes? Yes, that's right. Blaze smiled softly as she remembered that day. At first, he thought it was a jutsu, a technique that the ninja of his village uses, that I was doing, but when I explained to him, it wasn't. A younger Naruto had an awe expression with his eyes replaced as stars. She silently giggled. He looked like a child that's been giving a birthday present and was amazed by it. As he should. The king chuckled. After all, you did inherited your gift from your mother. Now I believe you met the Kage of that village, yes? Blaze nodded as she remembered meeting the 3rd Hokage. He's a kind old man who cares a lot about the people of his village and does whatever he can to help them, especially Naruto. It shows how much he loves them all and how far he's willing to protect them. The king smiled and nodded. Yes. Those are the signs of true ruler. Kindness, compassion and protective of their homes and people. The 3rd Hokage of the Leaf Village is a trustworthy ally, which is why I want you to return there. Blaze almost tripped in her step as she looks at her father in shock. I beg your pardon, father. You heard me, dear. The king laughed softly. From one of our travelers in the outside world, I heard that these Chunin exams were coming up. The Chunin exams, from what I understand, is an exam where genin, who are young ninja your age, are given the chance to show their strength to see if they are worthy to move to the Chunin rank. But it's not just strength alone. They must also have knowledge and skills. Blaze had a look of understanding of that. Of course it would make sense for the exams to be based around that. Being a genin and becoming a chunin is like you're graduating. However, in order to see if you are worthy of being a chunin, they must test you and see for themselves if you have what it takes. Not only that, but he also told me that the exams would be held at the Hidden Leaf Village this year and a lot of other ninja from various villages will be there. The king continued. I would like for you to go there to represent our kingdom, even though we aren't part of the shinobi nations. What? Blaze asked wide-eyed. But father, what about you? You are the king, surely you can go. The king stroked his beard. You are correct about that. However, I must stay here in the kingdom and watch over the soul emeralds. Besides, he looks to his daughter and winked to her. This could be your chance to meet your friend. Blaze softly gasped at that. That's right. With this chance, she'll be able to meet Naruto again. She already started to wonder what he might be like after all these years. Knowing him, he's probably still pulling pranks on everybody and eating those ramen. She giggled softly as her cheeks turned red. The king looked at his daughter when he heard her giggle and smiled when he saw her cheeks turn to red. So he was right after all. This Naruto might be a special friend to his daughter. When shall I leave, father? Blaze asked. You can leave right now if you want. The exams won't begin until the first day of July. The king replied. Blaze nodded before she noticed that they were in the castle garden. Wow, they were so wrapped up in the conversation they didn't know where they walking to. Oh my, it seems we talked a lot. The king said as he noticed the garden. He then turns to her smiling happily. Well then hurry along, my daughter. We wouldn't want to keep your friend waiting, do we? Blaze was silent before she went and hugged her father, making him smile softly as he returned it. Thank you, daddy, she whispered. I love you. I love you too, my dear. The king said as Blaze took off, the king watching as she does. He looks down at the picture, staring at the young happy boy with a smile. Naruto Uzumaki, to think a descendant of the Uzumaki clan still lives. He closed his eyes as an image of a younger him meeting a man with red hair appeared in his head. Thank you very much for befriending my daughter. It's no wonder the soul emeralds brought you two together. South Island. Scrape Brain Zone. Sheesh. This place is crazy. Naruto exclaimed as he dodged an incoming giant saw. The Scrap Brain Zone. Now this was the most challenging zone ever due to its many traps and a large amount of robots. Naruto quickly deduced that this was Nega's base. There were also factories all over the place, meaning that's where the robots were being made. Once he defeats Nega, then he'll blow this place up. The last zone he went to, the Starlight Zone, that was probably the most coolest zone he ever been to. All the tracks also made him go faster and faster. It was also easier to collect rings and destroy robots when he runs past them. But he did end up hitting a wall and fell on top of those exploding robots and lost some rings in process. But hey, it was still fun. He also managed to find a giant ring that were in the zone and went through them. Now he's got 6 of the 7 emeralds. Another giant ring hadn't appeared since then. So then where the hell is the 7th emerald? Naruto asked himself as he jumped to avoid a flamethrower before he destroyed more robots. I know I managed to get 6 through the secret zone. But the Labyrinth zone didn't have any giant rings. Stupid maze. Naruto grabbed a few rings and slid down to avoid a giant saw. Does Nega have it? No. If he did, I would have sensed, especially when I fought him in Starlight Zone. He looks up and saw an entrance to a base. Time for the final showdown, Nega. He grinned as he spin dashed inside, avoiding the traps. He stopped when he saw Nega standing in front of him, on the other side of the doorway, a grin on his face and a switch in front of him. Welcome to my humble abode, Naruto. Nega said. How do you like it? I'm no contractor, but this place doesn't look up to code, Doc. Naruto then smirked. But don't worry, once I beat you and blow it up, then everything will be nice and peachy. He then spin dash at Nega, but then a green energy wall appeared between the two, knocking him back. Okay, didn't see that coming. Naruto groaned. Sorry my boy. Nega said. But lately you've been a real pain in my egg. Because of you I wasn't able to locate one Chaos Emerald on this island, and it is due to your interference. Naruto frowned. Looks like he was right. Nega doesn't have the last emerald. But no worries. Once I'm through with you, I'll be able to locate the emeralds. Nega continued as he grinned. So until then, have a nice fall. Nega jumped on the switch in front and the floor beneath Naruto's feet collapsed. Oh crap. Naruto screamed as he fell into the darkness. Naruto had a half-lidded expression on his face as he laid down on the floor. Fall. Pun. Funny. He got up and shook his head. He walks ahead and he an annoyed expression. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. He was in the Labyrinth zone again. Except this place was gray. And it looked really difficult than the last one. Alright, Naruto cracked his neck and grinned. Let's get this over with. He dashed forward as he got through the weird labyrinth. He destroyed a bunch of robots that were down there, releasing the animals that were trapped. He even avoided some spikes that were in his way. He stopped, however, as his eyes widened comically. The water is purple. Water shouldn't be purple. He looks across it and saw the path to move forward. He looks down at the purple water. He sniffs it but then turns sickly green. It even smells purple. The ultimate ninja stated. And I don't even know what purple smells like. A sign aura appeared around Naruto as he flew across the purple water before he landed on the path and ran forward. As he did, he destroyed some more robots and was getting ready to get out of the pathway when the purple water started to rise faster. Naruto had no choice but to cover his breath as he was in the water. But he used his spin dash to get out of the pathway and out the water. He spat the water on the ground and shook his body. Step 1. Kick Eggman's ass. Step 2. Find a way off this island. And step 3. Take a nice long shower. The stink will come off. He said as he looked up and saw a hole in the ceiling. A smirk appeared on his face as he used his spin dash to get out underground and back up to Nega's base. Music. Final's own Sonic the Hedgehog. Where are you, Nega? Naruto asked as he made it out the fake labyrinth zone and was in a laboratory. Once he made on the edge of the platform, a force field appeared right behind Naruto. He looks behind it, eyes narrowed before he turned back around and moved forward. He screeched to a halt, however, when he saw an engine piston come down from above him, making his eyes widen comically as his nose touched it. He quickly jumps back just as the piston went back up to the ceiling. What the hell was that? Naruto asked in shocked. That was my engine piston. Nega's voice was heard. And now it's time I turn you into a ninja pancake. Naruto felt vibration, making him look down on the floor before his eyes widened when he saw it was slightly moving up. Whoa. He quickly jumped out of the way as 2 pistons came out at the same time. However, one of them had Nega inside it. He quickly used his spin dash and attacked the piston, but it quickly went back down. Hey. Naruto heard movement close to him. He looks down, saw he was standing between 2 large circles. One was coming up and the other was coming down. He stood in a straight stiff posture as the pistons came down on Naruto and missed him. Having trouble, Naruto? Nega asked from within one of the pistons. He laughed mockingly as the pistons returned. Get back out here and fight like a man. Naruto exclaimed as he stomped on the pistons. He heard noises coming from above him and he looked up in exasperation as he saw electric generators charging up. Of course. The generators sent 4 spark balls at Naruto as he quickly dodged them. Okay, time for me to stop playing. He held his hand out as a Chaos Emerald appeared. He smirked as he heard the pistons getting ready to come out. Chaos, the pistons came out. Control. Music ends. Time had stopped. Naruto looked to one of the pistons and saw Naga inside, grinning evilly. Naruto grinned as he did multiple homing attacks on the piston. In a blur, he then launched a bunch of chaos spears at it before he stopped to charge it the last one up. He then threw the biggest spear at it, making it become more damaged. Time was about to return normal, so Naruto quickly took a marker out and draw doodles on Naga's face as he chuckled evilly. Time soon returned to normal and the piston Naga was in was getting completely destroyed as multiple dents appeared around and scorch marks were on it. Naga was screaming as his pistons were exploding. He quickly got out and jumped into his eggmobile. No way. I can't believe this. Naga exclaimed as he was making his escape. Believe it. Naruto exclaimed as his hand was charged with yellow chaos energy. Chaos spear. He launched the attack on the eggmobile, causing it to explode. Ooh. Naga screamed in anger as his machine lost power. He looks at his reflection seeing the doodles on his face and he went red. I hate that ninja brat. He then fell into a bottomless pit. Naruto grinned down at the pit as he rubbed his finger across his nose, completely ignoring the destruction of the scrap brain zone. He turns around and runs out. Music. Credit Sonic the Hedgehog. Naruto races out of the destruction of the scrap brain zone before he found himself back into Starlight Zone. Then he managed to get back to the Labyrinth Zone and ram across the ocean. He returns to Spring Yard Zone in that moment and then came to Marble Zone. He soon found himself back in Green Hill Zone as all of the animals followed after him the moment they saw him. Yes. Naruto cheered in excitement as he stopped in an open field. He then break-danced as the animals cheered for him. Alright. I beat the bad guy. And I got my first adventure by myself. He turns to the animals. Pretty cool, huh guys? The animals cheered once more as they crowded around Naruto. He kneels to them as he began to pet them while some managed to get on his head and shoulders. Haha. Yup. This deserves one great. Naruto stopped as he realized something. His eyes widened further. Aw man. I still gotta find out where the last Chaos Emerald is. Wah. Naruto trailed off as he saw the 6 Chaos Emeralds appear before him in a circle. He immediately had a vision of Sonic standing in his place, looking up at the emeralds, before it vanished. He watched as the Chaos Emeralds floated to the air above Naruto. They began to spin around really fast and in a flash of white, they vanished. Naruto's eyes widened in shocked awe before he looks around and saw lots and lots of flowers around the zone. Whoa, Naruto whistled as he looked around. This is beautiful. He looks up. I didn't know they can do that. He puts his hand under his chin. So what happens now? The Chaos Emeralds must be somewhere else by now. There was only 6 Chaos Emeralds on this island and the last one wasn't even here. On top of that, when all 6 came together, they disappeared. Which means he's gonna have to find them again. Another thing is, he's stuck on this island. Even using his telekinesis to fly home won't be it since he hasn't fully mastered it yet. So how can he? Naruto felt tugging on his pants. He looks down to one of the animals, a squirrel called Ricky, looking up at him and pointing in a direction. Huh? Ricky let go and ran to the direction he was pointing at. He looks back at Naruto and made a noise before he ran off. Hey, wait up. Naruto quickly followed after the squirrel. After following the animal for a good minute, Naruto stops and stares in awe at what he saw. Cool. Naruto said as he went to examine the vehicle. It was an old vintage biplane with a red fuselage and 2 gray main wings attached with a pair of poles on both sides. The red fuselage has a power plant with a gray tractor screw, small orange forward-pointing arrows close to beep it, and the word Sonic written in white on both sides, with stretchy F-letter labels underlining them. The beep pit has only 1 seat. Its empennage has 2 small horizontal stabilizers and 1 vertical stabilizer, the latter emblazoned with an emblem of a bumper with wings. It also has 3 wheels, 2 under the lower main wing and 1 below the empennage. Naruto stopped his examination as he saw the word Sonic on it. Sonic. He puts his on the biplane, but gasped as a vision of a younger Sonic jumping in the plane and flying it appeared in his head. This is Sonic's airplane. The tornado. What was the tornado even doing here? Sitting all alone like this? How come he never spotted it? Oh. Maybe the animals were looking out for it. Yeah. That makes sense. I think. Naruto said. He looks up at the sky then back at the plane before a grin appeared on his face. He jumps into the pilot seat and his eyes widen as he saw a compass in front of him. And it was pointing west. Alright then. Naruto said as he put his hands on the wheel. West it is then. He began to start the plane up and he cheered when he heard the engine start. He looks at the squirrel and waved at him. Thanks a lot little guy. Stay safe. He began to drive before starting to take off. Iriki waved goodbye to Naruto with a bright smile on his face before he ran off to join his friends. Ending 1. The Shining Road. Instruments. Awesome. Naruto cheered as he flew away from South Island, waving to the animals as they waved back. He turns back around, hands gripping the wheel in excitement, and gets ready to start a new adventure. However, a familiar floating metallic object caught sight of the plane leaving and began to follow it. But unknown to Naruto and the object following him, the same masked boy from before came out from the shadows and watched them leave with his arms crossed. Soon he said as he vanished. The world around us is so magical. But now it's been placed under a spell. A shot of the Hidden Leaf Village is shown at night. However, the sun starts to rise in the distance. My love, come with me and together we shall search to find a charm. We'll travel to the land of our dreams where forbidden dreams just may come true. Naruto is sitting on top of the 4th Hokage's mountain head as he stares at the rising sun. The wind starts to blow as it moved his hair to the side. He looks down at his hand, staring at his star charm, a sad look on his face. He closes his eyes and puts the charm on his chest for a moment, not seeing it glowing slightly. When we're alone tomorrow, we will sneak away and secretly meet. Up on top of a hill, where there are birds everywhere and we can be all alone. At the same time, a princess is seen at her castle, staring at the rising sun as well, a sad look on her face. She walks back to her room and picks up her star charm from her bed, placing it on her chest and closing her eyes, not seeing it glow. I know someday, I'll hold your hand. While we sit alone in the morning mist. And the seal in our way, of our shining road will be broken. Back in the Leaf Village, a younger Naruto opens his eyes and saw he was in a mist. He walks forward, looking around in confusion. Unknown to Naruto, the princess, who got younger also, appeared behind him and was looking around as well. They both stopped walking as they felt each other's presence. They slowly looked back at each other with surprised expressions. Naruto ended up smiling happily as he ran to her and grabbed her hand, bringing a smile on the princess's face. The two ran off together before they disappeared. Till the end of time. Naruto and the princess, in their older forms, stood back to back, eyes closed and smiles present on their faces. In their hands were their star charms. West Side Island. A young boy is seen inside his home, working on a new invention. Almost there he said as he still messed with some stuff. A happy smile appeared. Yes. His ears twitched as he heard something outside. He looks out the window and saw an airplane. He watched as the plane made a spin and flew down to land. Whoa. A young boy stood up in excitement. That was so cool. I wonder who that was. He grabs his invention and runs outside, the bright sun revealing fox ears on his head and twin tails. I can't wait to meet them. Naruto was falling down to South Island before he used his telekinesis to land down as he looks around in shock and disbelief. He then notices a bunch of badniks kidnapping animals, making him frown seriously before he begins to destroy them and then runs ahead. Yesterday's rules are simply loose today. The best goal is to break them. Naruto is running across the zones of South Island before he stopped and was face to face with Eggman Nega, who was fuming at the sight of him. Naruto smirks and does a spin dash and charged at him. Later, Naruto has the 6 Chaos Emeralds as they vanished and large flowers appeared on South Island. He grins as he turns to the tornado. If I don't keep running. There's no other meaning. The scene changes to show Naruto landing the tornado on West Side Island as Tails comes flying towards him, but he sneezes as he changed between his fox form and human form before taking on his fox form. An explosion is heard, making Tails jump up as they turned and saw Eggman Nega laughing evilly before he flies away. It's a punk philosophy. Naruto grins at Tails as he gave him thumbs up, making him nod happily, and the two raced forward across the zones. I rhythm is a 2-time rhythm. The scene changes to show Naruto inside the Death Egg as he battled against Robo Naruto before destroying him. The Death Egg shook and Naruto heard something behind him. He looks back him and saw the Death Egg robot getting ready to stomp him. The scenery instantly becomes countless lines. The wind envelops me. Naruto grins as the Chaos Emeralds appeared around him before he absorbed them and transformed into Super Naruto. He grins up at the Death Egg robot before he charged at him and out of the Death Egg as it exploded. He winks and gives a thumbs up to the viewers. Inside outside attack. Surpass everything altogether. I won't let anyone. Or anything get ahead of me. The scene changed to show Naruto running across a green field. Something caught his attention as he stops and looks up, seeing a planet chained to a mountain. He runs up to the mountain till he was at the top. He spin dashed down the mountain before he jumped off the ramp and landed on the chain as he ran on it, heading towards the planet. Inside outside, go. Sonic. Everything all together, yes. Sonic. Watch out and have a nice or similar. That's right, both are by the skin of your teeth. Blaze is riding on a boat, looking at the horizon with a soft smile present on her face. At the Stardust Speedway's own on Little Planet, the masked boy watches on as Naruto and Metal Naruto were racing on a track. Amy Rose is seen crying for head at the end of the track, while Eggman Nega chases after them with a laser beam on his Eggmobile. Naruto soon got in front of Metal Naruto as he reached his hand out to Amy. Bro bored him away. And start running. The Death Egg is seen falling from the sky and landing on Angel Island, causing it to fall the ocean. The guardian of the island, Knuckles, sees it falling. He runs over to where the Death Egg landed to investigate. Sonic, go. Pictures are shown. The first is Amy hugging a blushing Naruto happily. The second is Naruto and Tails are flying to Angel Island. The third is Naruto fighting against Knuckles. The fourth is Blaze running across the jungle. The last pic is the masked boy leaning on the altar of the emeralds. The scene changes to show the Master Emerald, with the Chaos Emerald surrounding it. The Chaos Emeralds then transform into Super Emeralds. Sonic, go. More pictures are shown. The first is Dr. Nega taking the Master Emerald from its shrine, with Knuckles grabbing onto his Eggmobile, while Naruto and Tails chase after them. The second pic is Naruto and Tails running through the Sky Sanctuary, seeing the Death Egg rising in the background. The third pic is Naruto up in space as he looks back at a giant mech with the Master Emerald inside it, a comical shocked look on his face. The last pic is the mural from the Hidden Palace zone. The scene changes to show Naruto giving a mighty roar as his body started to glow in a rainbow color. Go, let's go. The silhouette of Naruto's new transformation is seen, with his back turned to the readers, a rainbow aura covering his being. The camera zooms in on his back as he looks over his shoulder, showing his now purple eye. Ultimate Ninja 7. Naruto Uzumaki 2. West Side Island Adventure. Chapter cover. Naruto and Tails stood, grinning and smiling, in a blue space with a large checkered number 2 in the background. Dr. Nega is in the background as well, gripping the number 2 as it cracks. Based on the US Sonic the Hedgehog 2 boxered. High in the sky, Naruto was flying the tornado, enjoying the nice breeze in the air. Man. This is way past cool. He cheered. He still couldn't believe that Sonic's biplane is here. Well, guess it's his biplane now. Matter of fact, he couldn't believe that he actually knew how to fly this plane when something like this hasn't been invented. It's like it just suddenly came to him, just like that. Beep. 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 Naruto heard beeping noises, interrupting his thoughts, making him look down at the compass, and saw he was approaching his location. He looks down below, and his eyes widen as he saw another island. And this one looked bigger than South Island. This must be the place. Naruto said. After flying for a couple of minutes, Naruto realized that the tornado wanted him to go somewhere. He just didn't know where, so he decided to play along and paid attention to the compass. And it looks like the tornado wanted him to go to that island ahead. Time to go see this new island. Naruto said in excitement as he flew down towards the island, still not knowing of the metallic floating object that flew over to the other side of the island. Once Naruto landed safely on the island, at the beach. He got out of his plane and he saw a sign that read "Welcome to West Side Island." West Side Island, huh? Naruto asked as he took a good look around and saw a beautiful forest with palm trees and azure lakes. Man, this place is beautiful. Naruto commented. He looks up at the sky and saw the sunset. Especially with the sky looking like that. He gasped as he started to sense the presence of not 6, but all 7 Chaos Emeralds. All 7 Chaos Emeralds are here. Naruto said in surprise. His eyes widened in realization. The tornado, he turns to it. That's why it brought me here. But why is the 7th emerald here and wasn't on South Island with the rest? I better go find someone to see if they got the answers. He then decided to explore the place, hoping he might run into some natives here, but with no luck. In fact, the only natives around here were the little animals. The same ones from South Island. Naruto had stopped his exploration of the area as he heard his stomach growling. Damn, I've been busy having fun on these adventures, I haven't gotten anything to eat. I don't even have my ramen or chili dogs to eat. He hung his head and looks up to see it was getting dark soon. I better hurry up and get something to eat before it gets too dark. He then runs off, picking up any fruits that were near, before heading back to the beach where he parked his tornado to get some fish. Next day. Naruto yawned as he stretched his limbs out. The sun was out and it wasn't hitting his face. The reason why? Is because he is sleeping under the wing of the tornado. Today is another beautiful day. Naruto exclaimed as he got up and walked out underneath the tornado and into the sun. He pats his stomach. Last night's dinner was good. Now, time to find the people. He dashes off again to explore the island. Meanwhile, On another part of the island, a young boy is seen running in the forest, trying to find the location of where the plane landed. He didn't find it yesterday, so maybe today is the day he'll find it and meet whoever landed there. I wonder where the plane landed. The boy said, scratching his cheek. He stopped as he heard someone coming, making him hide under the bushes. His eyes widened as he saw a boy who looked several years older than him. Who's he? The boy asked himself before his eyes widened. Oh. He must be the pilot of that plane. The boy hummed as he looked around. Still nothing. He then runs off really fast, shocking the child at the burst of speed the older teen has. Whoa, so cool. The little fox boy said. That older boy moved so fast, it felt like he was the wind itself. The boy quickly followed after him. Naruto hummed as he was now walking through the forest. Still no signs of any people here, only animals. South Island had no one either. He put his hand under his chin. What's going on? What happened to the humans on the islands? Naruto heard rustling in the bushes. He turns around to it, raising an eyebrow before he shrugged, thinking it was one of those animals. He continues to walk away to explore the area. The rustles continued on as Naruto walked away, making him look to the bushes from the side as his eyes narrowed. Okay, it was official. Someone was following him, though he didn't sense no intent to kill. This one was more of curiosity. Naruto sighed. Oi, I know you're there, I can sense you. He said out loud as the rustling stopped and he heard a childish male squeak, making the ultimate ninja's eyes widen. There's a kid here. The bushes moved again as Naruto saw curious sky blue eyes staring back at him, blinking before they widened comically as they ducked back in. Naruto had a half-lidded expression as he stared at the bush before he turned to the readers and shrugged. So the kid wanna play that game? Okay, he'll play along. He turns and runs off. Insert song. Back in time Sonic R. Naruto turns back to see if the kid was following him. The moment he did, his eyes widened. There behind him was a human boy who looked to be around Konohamaru's age group but slightly younger, around 5 or 6. But that wasn't what shocked Naruto. No, what shocked him was that the little boy had fox ears and from what he could see, a fox tail as well which he was using to catch up to him. The boy has yellow-orange hair, obviously with his ears and tail being the same color, though the tips of his tails were white. He wore short brown shorts and a yellow tank top over a white t-shirt. He wore red shoes with white toes and white gloves. Naruto took a good look into the boy's blue eyes and he saw the determination to try and catch up to him. But that's not all he saw. He saw sadness and loneliness just like how he was when he was young. Naruto smiles as he saw the boy catching up to him, though for some reason he sensed familiarity with him, which made his chest feel heavy. He ignores the feeling and decides to just have fun. He looks ahead, jumping off a bunch of pointy rocks with a fox following right behind him. He spin dash as he landed on the ground. The boy's eyes widened as he saw that. That was awesome. He grins confidently as he jumps in the air and did a spin. He stopped as he landed on the ground and jumps again, spinning once more. He landed once more before he jumped higher. He spread his arms and legs out before he finally did the spin dash. Naruto grins happily as he saw the kid do the spin dash. He stopped doing it as he was now catching up behind him. This kid is awesome. He exclaimed as he turns back and saw a yellow spring. He jumps on it as it bounced him to another one and he was sent flying across the sky. Naruto turns his head to the side but did a double take as he looked back at the kid who was flying next to him. No, seriously. The kid was flying right next to him. He looks behind and his eyes widened further when he finally noticed something. This kid didn't have one tail. He had two. 2 tails. He was using the tails to fly as well, so that's how he was able to catch up with him. He thought he had one tail to help him, but it was 2 of them. But still those twin tails. For a second, Naruto thought he saw the boy take the form of fox cub, which made him gasp silently as the feeling he felt before come back full force. He shook his head, seeing the boy change back to normal. What? Naruto saw the ground coming close. He flips in the air and landed safely on the ground. He looks up at the boy who flew down and noticed Naruto stare at him as he turned to him. That's awesome. Naruto exclaimed as the boy's eyes widened. You have 2 tails and you're using them fly. That is seriously awesome, man. The boy had a mild blush on his face at the compliment. This was the first time anyone has ever said anything nice to him, let alone compliment like that. Plus, he wasn't even freaking out about him having 2 tails. Song end. The boy stuttered. He was nervous. He has no idea what to say in this situation. Hey, so what's? I gotta go. Bye. The boy suddenly yelled as he flew away. Naruto exclaimed as the boy began to vanish from view. Hey, wait a second. Tails, wait. Naruto gasped as he put his hand in front of his mouth in surprise. Huh? He knew his name. How did he know his name? He felt something slid down his cheek. He touched it and felt wetness. What? Why am I? He didn't know why, but a tear had slid from his eye. He suddenly felt more tears fall. He tries to wipe them, but they just kept falling. It felt like something was squeezing him inside. He's been ignoring this feeling and just wanted to have fun with the kid. But just by seeing him he just felt more and more happy and relieved to see him again, and he didn't know why. He never even met him. But there is a certain kinship he felt from seeing the boy. His eyes, they were exactly like mine. He looks down for a moment before he looks up to where Tails left. Tails. Elsewhere. Tails was flying through the forest as he still couldn't believe what happened. That human boy had complimented him, saying that he's awesome. He's never been complimented before, so it took him by surprise. It's been a while since he's seen other humans before he found his way on this land. The humans would always look at him as though he was a freak of nature, an abomination that shouldn't even exist. It was also the same here with the animals, and they would bully him any chance they could get. But that boy, he didn't even care about what he looked like. If anything, he looked happy, and it seems like he was having fun with him. Tails stops flying and looks down. Just before he vanished from the boy's view, he saw his face once more and saw he looked sad that he left. That boy, did he wanted to be friends with me? He asked himself. I better go and find him. He began to fly in hopes of finding the mysterious boy. He looks down below and couldn't find him anywhere, but then his eyes widened as he saw a red biplane on the beach. He flies down to where the plane is. It's the plane. The fox said in awe as he examined the plane. He's been searching for the plane since he saw it yesterday, but he got lost and decided to head home. It looks fast, but I bet I can make it go faster. Meanwhile. Still nothing, Naruto muttered as he walked back to the beach. He yawned as he stretched his arms out. There really aren't any humans on this island. Not only that, I don't know how to get to the Chaos Emeralds in the special zone, and I haven't even found a giant ring here. I guess there's an alternate route here on West Side Island. And that kid, his thoughts went to the boy. I still haven't found him. He stopped talking when he heard something mechanical and it was coming from the beach. But the only thing on the beach was the torna. Naruto's eyes widened comically as he realized someone was messing with his plane. Hey. He quickly runs to the beach and stopped as his eyes widened. When he realized that the tornado was on the beach and someone was messing with it, he expected to run into a torn apart plane and the bastard who was doing it taking some parts. But what he didn't expect was to find the kid from earlier fixing his plane. It looked like that he upgraded the biplane as he saw some parts added to it, making it look faster than before, plus it looks he gave it a paint job in a cool shade of blue. All in all, Naruto loved it. He walks up to the boy, watching as he continued to paint it and not noticing him. There. All finished. Tails cheered as he examined the biplane. It looks faster now. I'll say. Naruto agreed, causing the fox boy to jump in the air as he screamed in surprise. The genin held his arms out as he caught the little boy, causing him to look at him in surprise. Sorry little guy, didn't mean to scare you. He put the fox down. No, I'm sorry. The boy said as he scratched the back of his head. I didn't mean to touch your plane, it's just whenever I see a machine, I can't help myself. I hope you don't mind, but I gave it a new engine to make it go faster. I'm really sorry. Dude, why are you apologizing? You just made the tornado even more awesome. Naruto said happily as the boy had a shocked, surprised expression. And great job with the color. Really gives off the coolness. The boy stared at Naruto with the same expression before a bright smile appeared on his face. He was right after all. This teen was okay with being with someone like him. And not only that, but he also loved what he did with his plane. At first he thought that he might get angry at him for touching it without his permission, but instead he was excited and impressed. Yeah. I added a lot of stuff to it too. The kid said happily. You did all that? You're amazing. Naruto said in an amazed tone as the kid blushed at the compliment. The ultimate ninja walks up to him. So, how come you've been following me around? Was it because of my plane or something else? Well, not exactly. The boy said shyly before he looked down sadly, getting Naruto's full attention as he wanted to know why this kid was all alone. They always make fun of me because I like to repair and fix things and because he grabs one of his tails and has poked his ears. Different. That made Naruto's eyes narrow. They always make fun of him. That could only meant one thing. This kid has been bullied because of his unique fox features, which made Naruto inwardly growl. If there's one thing he hates are bullies. And once he find the punks who's been bullying this little guy, they better hope and pray they don't run into him in the future. But the boy spoke up, getting Naruto's attention again. He smiled up at the human. When I saw you, you looked really cool and I followed you because I wanted to talk to you, but you got nervous. Naruto continued as the fox nodded. When you said that I was awesome, I was caught off guard, so I ran away. The boy admitted. I tried to look for you, but then I found your plane on the beach. I'd figure I'd fix it up and we could be friends. If you want to, that is." Naruto smiled sadly. So that was it. This little guy was shy to come and talk to him and he never was complimented before, that's why he ran. He also felt sorry for him. He's been bullied all his life by the animals because of his twin tails and because he likes to repair machines. But why? He has an amazing gift, so why were they bullying him for something like that? The more he thought about it, the more angrier he gets at the bullies. Naruto also began to question on what happened to his parents, that is if his parents were alive, that is. So then he had no one to take him in. He's been alone for a long time and never had one friend. Him and this boy were a lot alike. "Well, to be honest, I wanted to be friends with you the moment I saw you," he told the little child, much to his surprise. He put his fist out in front of the fox, doing his signature smile. "Nice to meet you, little buddy, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. A ninja from the village hidden in the leaves, believe it?" The fox's eyes widen in awe. He's a ninja, so cool. He smiles happily as he fist bumps Naruto. "I'm Miles Prower. But everyone calls me Tails." Tails introduced himself happily. "Righto, little buddy." Naruto and Tails shared a high five and small laugh as Tails flew around Naruto. Suddenly, they both saw a flash of white and then boom. Whoa. Tails screamed as he hid behind Naruto's back, while the genin himself had his eyes narrowed, a serious frown on his face. Various explosions then occurred across the area the two were in as the wildfire blew away various debris. Naruto quickly grabbed Tails and dodged them all with ease. "That was Clo." "Naruto, look." Tails pointed and Naruto's eyes widened as he saw robots violently excavating the area. "And those robots look awfully a lot like the ones from South Island, which meant—" "Oh, you gotta be kidding me," Naruto growled as a cyan aura appeared around him. He held his hand out to the robots and they stopped their rampage as similar auras appeared around them. He swiped his hand to the side and sent them flying into the ocean. He saw more of them coming out from the forest and held his hand out to them, making them float in the air. He then clenched his fist tight as the badniks were squished in the air before they exploded. Naruto floated down as he turned to Tails, who had an awe expression as he looked down at the destroyed robots. "Tails, are you okay?" So cool." Tails exclaimed as Naruto blinked at him before grins and chuckled. The two heard something flying above them. They looked up and saw a flying metallic object going past them. "That's right, my badniks. Destroy everything," a familiar voice ordered as he laughed evilly as he vanished. "Dr. Eggman Nega," Naruto exclaimed as Tails looked at him in surprise. "You know him?" Tails asked as Naruto nodded. "Yeah, he's an evil scientist who wants to take over the world. But I don't understand. How the hell did he escape from South Island? Matter of fact, what's he doing here?" He asked himself before realization hit him and he palmed his face, groaning in annoyance. "Oh man, he must have followed me after our battle and probably learned the Chaos Emeralds are here." "Chaos Emeralds?" Tails asked, tilting his head. "Yeah, they're these 7 emeralds that holds a lot of unlimited powers," Naruto replied as he looked down, a serious frown on his face. "If given in the wrong hands, they could have the power to destroy the world and that's why Eggman Nega wants to have them." The gasp escaped from Tails. "Yesterday, I was at South Island and I learned from Nega that the Chaos Emeralds were there. But only 6 of the emeralds were there and the last one wasn't." Naruto turned to the tornado. "When they vanished, I found the tornado and it brought me here to this island and I could sense that all 7 of them were here. I'm trying to figure out why that's possible." "You know, that sounds exactly like the legend on this island," Tails said as Naruto looked at him in confusion. "Legend?" he asked as the cub nodded. "A very long time ago, the people of West Side Island used a mysterious stone to advance their civilization and achieve prosperity. However, when those people tried to use the stone for the wrong reasons, their prosperity vanished overnight. It is believed that the kami sealed away the stone within the island's depths." Naruto had a stupefied expression. A mysterious stone. That sounded like the 7th Chaos Emerald. So it was here all along. But wait, the people from back then used the emerald to advance their civilization and prosperity. That was incredible. What wasn't incredible was the fact they were using the emeralds for their own selfish reasons and it looked like the gods sealed it away. It looks like after the 6 Chaos Emeralds vanished from South Island, the lost 7th must have called them over here and they're probably in the secret zone. And Nega wants to know how to get in those secret zones and get them. "Naruto?" Tails asked, snapping Naruto out of his thoughts. "Are you okay?" "Oh, yeah, sorry, I was thinking." Naruto chuckled sheepishly before he turns around and walks away. In all seriousness, Nega is gonna try and find the Chaos Emeralds just like on South Island. And it looks like I'm gonna have to find them before he does. "Tails, you should." "I'll come along with you," Tails said happily, catching Naruto off guard. "Huh? I said I'll come with you," Tails repeated. Naruto was gonna tell him no, but paused when he saw the same determined expression from earlier which impressed him. Plus he was reminded that Tails had no one to watch over him, so it'll be dangerous if he's by himself, especially with Nega around here. He's also the first and only friend Tails ever had. And besides, adventures are always more fun with friends around. So, with a grin on his face, Naruto nodded. Alrighty then. This adventure is gonna be a lot more fun. Naruto cheered as he starts to rev his feet up. Come on Tails. Let's go kick Nega's butt. Yeah. Tails cheered as well as the two disappeared in a yellow blur. They left the forest and found themselves stopping on a green hill as Naruto looked around in awe. Whoa, what's this place? This is Emerald Hill's own. Tails replied as he jumped off Naruto's shoulder. Music. Emerald Hill's own Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Plains of verdant grass and beautiful beaches draw instant comparisons with South Island's Green Hill's own, but Emerald Hill's own has a character all of its own. Emerald Hill's own, Naruto repeated before his eyes narrowed as he saw spiked death traps and those badniks. Okay, let's go. Okay. Tails nodded as the two dashed off. The two journeyed across the zone as they destroyed the badniks that were in their way while also releasing the trapped animals. They crossed through a bridge as fish badniks jumped out of the river to get a bite out of them, only to get covered by a cyan aura and smashed into each other. Naruto wasn't so surprised as he saw rings scattered here as well, so he and Tails picked them up. Hey Tails? Naruto asked as he ran through a loop. Yeah? Tails asked as he did a spin attack and destroyed a monkey badnik. Do you know any way to enter a secret zone here? The what zone? A secret zone. Naruto threw a kunai at a badnik before he jumped on a spring and landed on a floating platform, grabbing the rings that were there and jumped off before moving on as Tails flew next to him. It's where I found the Chaos Emeralds back on South Island. However, in order for me to get there was these giant rings that was like a portal. Naruto continued on as he and Tails dodged a large laser attack from a chameleon badnik before Naruto kicked it away. Oh, you must mean a special zone. Tails realized. Huh. And I've been calling them secret zone. Naruto thought before he shrugged. Same thing. Well, legends say that there are these star posts across the island. Once you gather enough rings, they'll open a portal to somewhere unknown. Tails explained before he squeaked as Naruto grabbed him and jumped over a bunch of spikes. Star posts, the Leaf Genin said, letting the term roll off his tongue. So in order to get inside the special zone, he needs to have the right amount of rings for these star posts. Sounds easy. But how many rings does the star post need in order to open a portal? Huh? Naruto stopped running as something caught his interest while he put Tails down. What's wrong, Naruto? Tails asked, wondering why his new friend stopped. Is that one of those star posts you were talking about earlier? Naruto asked, pointing ahead as Tails looked at it. A star post has a yellow shapely post, gray stretch rod and a lamp on the top, which has a red circle with black center with white star in it. Yeah, that's it. Tails nodded. Naruto looked at the star post. Well, time to see if he's got enough rings. He hits the star post as the lamp spins around before it flashes red and yellow. All of a sudden spinning star circles appeared above it. Naruto and Tails looked at it before each other as they nodded and jumped into the star circle. Music. Special stage Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Naruto and Tails are running through a blue half-pipe. Above them, Naruto saw the sky look similar to the ones from the secret zone on South Island. Whoa. This is amazing. Tails exclaimed. Amazing, Naruto asked in disbelief as he looked around. Dude, this place is completely different than the ones on South Island. How do we even get the Chaos Emerald here? They heard something above them. They looked up and saw a screen that says to collect 140 rings. After that, their names appeared and the amount of rings they have, which is 0. They blinked as they looked at each other before they looked ahead and saw there were incoming rings. Oh. So in order for them to get the emeralds, they have to get the right amount of rings or higher, and then they'll be able to get the Chaos Emerald. With a grin on his face, Naruto turns to Tails. Let's do it to it, Tails. Naruto gave him a thumbs up. You got it, Naruto. Tails gave a thumbs up in return. The two turned back and gathered up the incoming rings. They were coming from the front and on the sides, so the two went into separate directions to gather them. Naruto's eyes widened in shock as he saw bombs lying around. Heads up, Tails. We got bombs incoming. He exclaimed. Okay. Tails nodded. The two jumped out of the bomb's way, all the while grabbing the rings that were coming their way. Once they saw nothing else, they ran to the center again. A screen popped up in front of them showing a thumbs up. The screen disappeared and both Naruto and Tails saw a glowing blue object. There it is. Naruto exclaimed as the two got close enough in order for Naruto to grab it. Yes. We got a Chaos Emerald. Awesome. Tails cheered. Stars appeared around them and the two disappeared. Music. Emerald Hill's own Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Naruto and Tails appeared in front of the star post. In Naruto's hand was the blue Chaos Emerald. Wow. Tails whispered in awe as he stared at the emerald. So that's a Chaos Emerald. Yup. Naruto said happily. That's one emerald down. We just need find 6 more. The emerald vanished in his hand, awing Tails. Come on little dude, this adventure is just getting started. Okay. Tails nodded happily. The two continued their journey across the zone before Naruto saw one of those capsules that was on South Island, which made him narrow his eyes. Damn, we've only been here for a day and he already captured those animals. Hey, what's that capsule? Tails asked. It's those capsules that Nega uses to capture the animals so he can use them to power up his badniks. Naruto explained as he jumped and landed on the capsule. Once he did, the capsule exploded and the animals escaped as they cheered happily. Music ends. And if this is like what happened on South Island, that means that those capsules are across the zones here. Naruto said as he and Tails walked now, not noticing the brown smoke in the sky and them entering a new zone. We better find them and set those animals free. Is there anything else? Tails asked curiously before he looked around. Yeah, Dr. Nega has probably made some factories around here as well like on South Island. Naruto stated. Like this place? Tails asked. That made Naruto stop walking as he looked around. The two of them were now in a chemical factory. There were tubes around as they were filled with blue liquid. There was also floating platforms around. Yup. Naruto deadpanned. Just like this place. He sighed before he grinned. Well, time to tier this. He took a good closer look at this zone before naming it. Chemical plant zone down. Right. Tails grinned as well before his nose began to twitch because of the smoke. Achu. Bless. Poof. You? Naruto blinks and turns around to Tails, and his eyes widened in comical shock and disbelief. In Tails' place is a young fox cub. But to Naruto, this cub reminded him of the hedgehogs. He wore Tails' gloves and shoes and had 3 plucks sticking out of his fur. He also has white fur around his muzzle and torso. Thank you, Tails sniffed as he rubbed his nose. He looks up and saw the dumbfounded expression on Naruto's face. What's wrong, Naruto? Tails, Naruto asked in shock. Is that you? Huh? Tails blinked before his eyes widened in realization. He looks down at himself, seeing he was in his fox form. Wow. You're a fox. Naruto said with an awe look as he looked at Tails up and down, noticing that he was shorter than the hedgehogs from THR last time he saw them. Yeah, Tails muttered softly, which Naruto noticed. What's wrong? Remember when I said on how I was different from everyone else? Tails asked. It wasn't just my tails and ears, it was this also. He referred to his fox form. Naruto gained an understanding expression. It's because you have both a fox form and human form that you've been rejected by not just animals here, but humans as well. He stated as Tails nodded sadly, his ears moving down. He put a hand on his shoulder, getting his attention. Listen, Tails, there's nothing wrong with being different from everybody else. No matter what you look like on the outside, it's what's on the inside that counts. If people don't understand that, then prove them wrong. Show them that you aren't who they think you are because of your appearance. Show them that you are a really cool kid. He finished with a thumbs up and his famous grin. That made Tails gasp as he stared at Naruto in awe with tears gathering in his eyes. Even though they met not too long ago and he's just now revealing his human form to Naruto, he gave him such helpful and encouraging advice to him. And he was right. He has to show everyone who he really is on the inside, not because of his appearance. Naruto thanks Naruto. Tails smiled up at him. Naruto grins and winks at him. Ho 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 ho. Nega. Naruto exclaimed as he and Tails continued to hear his evil laughter throughout the chemical plant. Let's go, Tails. Right. Music. Chemical plant zone. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The two start their journey off by jumping on a moving platform before continuing on running across a pipe full of blue chemicals. They jumped on a yellow spring, making them go to the higher level before they attacked a spider-like badnik. They quickly dodged out of the way when they saw blue chemicals sprouting from the ground. They went through a loop before going all the way down as they went faster and faster before they hit a red spring, bouncing them back to the other direction as they traveled down the pipes before hitting a dead end. They saw Lid on the floor and Tails, being curious, does a spin attack on it and it forcibly sucked them both inside. Boy, Naruto screamed as they were going really fast inside the pipes as it took them into a new direction by moving up, down and all around. Once they were out of the pipes, via launching them upwards, a lid closed, revealing a red spring as they bounced on it and landed on moving yellow blocks. Naruto quickly grabbed Tails and ran up the wall, using his chakra before he grabbed a ledge and pulled them up. He then sat him down and looks over the ledge. Whoa, head is spinning. Tails said as his eyes became swirls before his nose twitched. Achoo. Poof. He turned back into his human form. "Tails, I believe you found us a new fun shortcut in this waste dump," Naruto said happily as he looked down at the tube they were just shot out of in excitement. "Wah." Naruto quickly turns to Tails and saw he got grabbed by one of those spider badniks from the ceiling. "Hey." He spin attacks it, releasing both Tails and the animal inside before he grabbed them both. He released the animal, a rabbit, as it waved at them before it hopped away. "That was close." Tails sighed in relief as Naruto let him go. "Come on, we should be getting close to Naga," Naruto said. They ran ahead, down the blue pipes before Naruto did a spin dash to attack a badnik that was close to them and got out of it to continue running. They went through a dash panel, making them go faster as they went through multiple loops in a burst of speed as they found themselves entering a factory. They were then rocketed upwards, grabbing some rings that were floating in midair. They continued onwards as they destroyed more badniks before they found themselves trapped and were on the moving blocks. "Ah." Naruto, look. Tails pointed below them, making Naruto look down and saw rising pink water. And it was rising fast. Mega Mac. Mega, what? Poisonous water. Ah. Oh crap. Naruto quickly jumped up to a wall and used his chakra again while Tails flew. Together, the two of them quickly tried to get out of the death trap before Tails began to feel tired. Naruto jumps, grabbing Tails after seeing him catch his breath and landed on the other wall and continued to move as the water below them continued to rise faster and faster. Naruto saw the ledge above as he smirks and jumps up and over it. The two best friends looks at the pink liquid. "From now on, if we see any form of water that isn't in different colors, we stay away from it," Naruto told Tails as he nodded. "Yup." Naruto turns around and gasps as he saw a star post. "Alright. A star post." He quickly punches it, making the top spin as stars appeared around. The two quickly jumps into the stars as they vanished. A portal opens up and the two came back out with a purple chaos emerald in Tails' hand. "Alright. 2 down, 5 to go." Naruto said happily before he looks at the star post, a curious expression. "I wonder how long we've been in the secret zone. I feel like time moves differently in there than out here." Ho 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 ho. Naruto and Tails looked around as they heard the laughter. Naruto's eyes began to narrow. They were close. Real close to where Naga is hiding. The two nodded at each other as they ran ahead before they saw a platform that was moving back and forth between a large gap and below the moving platform was the Mega Mac. Naruto used his Spanish pesetas to travel across it while Tails flew right beside him. As they made it to the other side, they quickly dash ahead, running through a dash panel as it made them run a wall and through a loop as they collected nearby rings and destroyed the badniks. Once they were outside the factory, they saw Eggman Naga up ahead, riding his Eggmobile, only it had a tube-like crane on it. They stopped on the yellow platform as they glared at him. "Naga." Naruto called out. "Ah, Naruto. So glad that you could make it." Naga grinned. "Do you like what I've done with the place?" "Hell no. How did you even escape from South Island?" Naruto asked. "That's for me to know and you not find out. I must admit though, when I heard about the legend of this island when I first arrived here, I was shocked that the lost emerald was sealed away, separated from the other emeralds." Naga explained. "Now that all 7 of them are gathered here, you won't stop me from getting them." "Yeah? Well, guess what, egg face. Me and my new sidekick Tails here are gonna get those emeralds before you can." Naruto smirked as Tails nodded. "That's right. We already got 2 of the emeralds, and once we have the other 5, we will stop you." Tails exclaimed as Naruto fell back comically. "What?" Dr. Naga shouted in disbelief. "You weren't supposed to tell him that, Tails." Naruto whispered to Tails, who blinked and covered his mouth. "Oops. How? How were you able to collect the emeralds?" Naga demanded. "That's for us to know and you to never find out." Naruto grinned as Naga growled. "Fine. Then I'll have to beat it out of you." Music. Boss Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Naruto and Tails jumped back as Naga dumped blue toxic on their heads. Naruto looks back and his eyes widened as 3 platforms were flipped over. Whoa. Naruto used his Spanish pesetas to grab Tails, covering him in his sign aura as they both moved back to the middle platform. He looks forward and saw the other yellow platforms flip over before they returned to normal. "That's a cheap trick, Naga," he exclaimed. "Did you honestly think I would play fair?" Naga shot back as he dumped more of the blue toxic above them, making Naruto move back. Tails watched as Naga moved to the other side and began to suck in the blue toxic inside the jar above his Eggmobile. An idea came to his head. He flies on Naruto's back, getting his attention as he whispered in his ear. Naruto's eyes widened as he looked at the jar before an evil grin formed on his face. "Gotcha, little buddy," he exclaimed as he and Tails stepped out of the way of more blue toxics. He did a familiar cross on his fingers. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Poof. Poor Naruto's appears in a poof of white smoke, shocking Tails into awe as his eyes were replaced by stars. Now. The duo and clones charged at Nega as they spin attack his egg-mobile multiple times as Nega screamed out. The Naruto clones began to destroy the extra pieces of the egg-mobile before they disappeared, clouding Nega's vision. As he coughed out the smoke, he looks up and saw a grinning Naruto in his face as he floated in front of his egg-mobile. Boom. Boom. An explosion rocked from below the egg-mobile as it got sent flying into the sky, with Nega screaming all the way as small explosions began to appear around his egg-mobile. Music ends. Naruto and Tails watched as Nega vanished into the sky, turning into a star. They look ahead, seeing a capsule there. They jumped over the flipping yellow platforms as they made it to the other side and ran to the capsule. Naruto jumps up and lands on the button, causing many explosions to erupt, and the animals released, before he did a flip and continued on ahead with Tails flying beside him. As they ran they found themselves out of the chemical plant and into a brand new zone. Music. Aquatic Ruins Zone Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Naruto looks around to see they were now in some sort of ancient ruins that looks like it was submerged into water. Hey Tails. What is this place? He asked curiously as he did a spin dash on a badnik before throwing a bunch of shuriken at the flying badniks, destroying them. It's the Aquatic Ruins Zone. Tails replied as he did a spin attack on a badnik. Naruto was about to say something, but gave a yell of surprise when he saw a pillar had popped out from underground before he jumped over it. Gotta be careful around here. Naruto said to Tails as they ran through a large log bridge and came out. As they ran past the water, they jumped to higher before Naruto saw a box of rings. He jumps on it, collecting the rings, and went to join Tails. They went through a loop before they ran up a slope. They immediately saw a star post, and Naruto punched it as stats appeared around them. They jumped into the stars and vanished. After a minute, the portal opens up and Naruto and Tails came out, a red Chaos Emerald in Naruto's hand before it vanished. Is it me, or are these secret zones becoming really hard the more we collect these emeralds? Naruto asked. It does seem that way. Maybe it's a test from the god that sealed away the lost emerald. Tails answered. If it's a test then I can say we're passing with flying colors. Naruto grinned. But to be honest, it seems more like a challenge to see if we can make it through and collect the emeralds. And I do love me a challenge. So I say bring it ouch. Naruto jumps in the air holding his butt as rings popped out of him, while Tails wailed his arms up and down in surprise. Naruto, luckily, landed on his feet and grabbed his butt. What the hell? He looks behind him and saw an arrow. An arrow where did? Naruto look out. Tails quickly grabbed Naruto's jacket and flew up with him as other arrows came out from a metal plate on a pillar, which had Eggman Nega's face on it. Oh that fat bastard, Naruto growled in annoyance as Tails flew them back down and stood next to him. Let's hurry up and get out of here. Got it? The two continued on their journey across the Aquatic Ruins Zone as they collected some rings. They saw a swinging platform as they jumped on it and it took them to the other side as they jumped off it. They went through a dash panel as it made them go through a loop before it took them down into the waters, making them hold their breath. Oh great. This again. Naruto groaned inwardly as he and Tails continued to run underwater. They saw a fish badnik charging at them before Naruto destroyed it using his spin attack. Naruto looks ahead and saw large bubbles coming out of the ground. He looks behind Tails and pointed at them as he nodded his head. Once they made, Tails sucks the large bubble in and Naruto got the second one. They both then looked ahead and did a spin dash as they went up a slope and got out of the water. They ran through the loops once more and jumped on a spring to get to a higher level before hitting a bunch of leaves. They landed on a platform and continued on ahead before they fell down. As they saw the capsule and was running to it, two big pillars suddenly came out from the ground, blocking their way. Hey. What's the big idea? Naruto asked. Naruto look. Music. Boss Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Naruto looks up and his eyes widened as he saw the egg-mobile, and it had large hammer. But what shocked Naruto was that there was a badnik that looks exactly like Nega. The badnik pounded his fist on the egg-mobile as he pointed at them and sat back down. He moved the egg-mobile to the totem and slammed the hammer down on it, making it shake as an arrow shot out of it, making the two jump. Naruto glares at the robot as it moved to the other totem. Hold on Tails. This will only be a second. He said. He runs to the other totem before he reached into his pocket, taking another paper bomb. He jumps off the totem and landed on the egg-mobile. The badnik eyes widens comically as Naruto slapped the paper on his body before he jumps off. The badnik wailed his arms as he saw the paper was fire before he turns to the readers and waved goodbye. Boom. Music ends. The explosion completely destroyed the badnik along with the egg-mobile and its attached hammer. The totem soon went back underground. Naruto and Tails watched as the destroyed egg-mobile crashed in front of them. Well that was easy. Naruto said. Uchiha. Tails agreed. Let's continue on. Naruto continued. The two ran forward as they jumped on a capsule and ran off to the next zone. As they did, they noticed how it began to get darker and darker the more they got to the zone. Before Naruto could say anything, he and Tails saw neon lights in the distance. Once they reached a cliff, Naruto's jaw dropped comically. Awesome. Music. Casino Night Zone Sonic the Hedgehog 2. There before them was a huge casino city filled with neon lights. He saw buildings, which gave off electrifying colors. He looked further and saw this casino city had skyscrapers as well. There was also many decorations on some buildings with words on them. Hey Tails, where are we? Naruto asked curiously. We're in Casino Night Zone. Tails answered. Huh. Fitting name. Naruto said as he saw how dark it is in this zone. Oh man. This place looks like fun. Come on, let's go explore. Right. Tails laughed before a feather touched his nose. Achoo. Poof. Tails appears in his fox form while Naruto deadpanned at him. Dude, you gotta control that. Tails laughed sheepishly at that, but Naruto just grinned. Let's go win some rings. Music ends. Hidden Leaf Village. Training Ground 7. Sasuke and Sakura were on their training ground, waiting for Kakashi to come. Gee, it's only a day and we still haven't heard anything about Naruto. Sakura said. I hope he's okay, wherever he is. Sasuke didn't say anything but deep down, he was worried about their teammate as well, even though he wouldn't say it nor admit it. Yo. Kakashi walked up to them. Kakashi-sensei, has there been any word on Naruto? Sakura quickly asked. Did you find out where he is? Calm down. And no to both of your questions. Kakashi said. Naruto is still out there somewhere and we already made sure to send out notices to let our allies outside the village know if they seen him or not. But he could have just written us a letter, right? Sakura asked. If he did, we would have it by now. Kakashi said as Sakura looked down. What about the one who sent him away in the first place? Sasuke asked. Kakashi put a hand under his chin. Well, we're still working on that. I had a theory on that same person which I shared with the Hokage and he shares that belief as well. So whomever it was that sent Naruto away is either long gone or is facing Naruto right now as we speak. That made Sasuke narrow his eyes while Sakura gasped. However, knowing Naruto, wherever he is, he's probably out there trying to find his friend and training. Kakashi chuckled. After all, he is the ultimate ninja. That made Sasuke scoff while Sakura chuckled and sweat dropped. Kakashi clapped his hands. So until Naruto comes back from his little vacation, we will still be doing training along with a few D-rank missions. That made his students groan at the mention of D-ranks. Now, this is only until Naruto comes back. But for now we'll be doing training. Okay, so what's the training? Sakura asked. Kakashi chuckled as he took out a gold ring before twirling it around his finger. Take this gold ring away from me. The two looked surprised. But sensei, isn't that Naruto's? Sakura asked. Nope. It's mine. Kakashi replied, much to their surprise. Believe it or not, I found some yesterday after telling the Hokage about the mission and Naruto's disappearance. When I went home, I saw them floating above my house so I decided to grab them. Huh. Sakura said as she turned to Sasuke, who only shrugged his shoulders. Now, let's begin. Kakashi said as they took fighting stances. Hidden Leaf Village. Hokage residence. Inside his office, Hiruzen couldn't help but stare at the lucky charm that was on his desk, a sad smile on his face, as memories of Naruto entering his office happily while holding hands with a blaze flashed in his mind. It's been 7 years. 7 long years since Naruto last saw her. 7 years since he's been trying to find her. Hiruzen looks up at the picture of Minato. Minato, you and Kushina would be so proud to know how much she means to Naruto and what he's willing to go through to find her. He stood up and walks up to the window, looking up at the sky. Blaze, I don't know where you might be right now or what you're doing, but I do know this: the bond you and Naruto share will bring you both together. And I feel that day is coming. Elsewhere. With Blaze. On board a ship, Blaze gave a soft sneeze. She's wearing a purple midriff top and a shower, which was white on the top and dark purple on the bottom. She wore shoes, which was purple on the sides while the top was red, while the center was opened up. She wore gloves and pink bracelets. She had her hair in a ponytail. She also had on a purple backpack. It's been a day since she was out at sea. She was currently on her way to the Land of Fire, the location of the Hidden Leaf Village. Blaze sniffs and blinks. Was someone talking about me? Say kid. Blaze turns around and saw the captain, a man around his early 50s. He had a green mustache and matching colored hair. He wore a simple white shirt with a brown jacket over it and black pants. He also wore a hat fit for a captain. It's rare that I have kids your age on my ship by themselves. Where you heading? He asked curiously. To the Land of Fire, Captain. Blaze replied as the captain's eyes widened in surprise. Land of Fire. One of those ninja countries. Yes. Blaze smiled softly as she looked at her reflection in the water. I'm heading there so I can meet an old friend of mine. The captain's eyes widened further before he chuckled. Most people here on his vessel would like to start a new life somewhere or want to go on an adventure. But this one, she wants to head to a ninja country because she wants to meet a friend she hasn't seen in who knows how long. Well, it could take a while for us to get there, so until then enjoy the ride, kid. The captain left. Blaze watched as he left before she turns back ahead. Naruto, I'll be there soon. West Side Island. Metropolis Zone. Music. Boss Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Hold still, you brats. Naruto and a humanized Tails quickly jumped out of the way as they dodged another set of Nega's drones before Naruto used his homing attack on him, landing a direct hit. The two were currently in the Metropolis Zone, Eggman Nega's very own capital city. After going through the Casino Night Zone and winning lots and lots of rings as they journeyed there, they came across a furious Eggman Nega in that zone after they destroyed one of his egg robos. Once they fought him and released the captive animals, they continued to follow Nega through Hilltop Zone, which was basically near a volcano where earthquakes happen very few moments. They beat Nega there and chased him through the Mystic Cave Zone, a deep underground cavern of the mountains, where he's been digging underground in search for the rest of the Chaos Emeralds, which made Naruto laugh at him because he didn't know about the special zone. After going through various routes across the cave, they found themselves falling into a deep dark pit. But what they didn't know was that they were heading into an unknown zone, which Tails called the Hidden Palace Zone. They explored the place a little bit, enjoying the amazing scenery as they saw glowing green emeralds, which oddly enough looked like the Chaos Emeralds, but bigger. But the exploration came to an end when they saw Nega and attacked him. They gave chase once more before they learned that the underground passageways of Mystic Cave Hidden Palace led out to sea as they found themselves in Oil Ocean Zone, scaling slimy oil refineries off the coast of West Side Island. The two immediately knew that this was Nega's doing. So they traveled through it, going through many obstacles that were in their way and trying to not slip on the oil or not fall in it. They eventually made their way to Nega and fought him. Once again, after defeating him, he escapes to his city, the Metropolis Zone. And let's just say that place was crawling with badniks. But Naruto and Tails took care of them all. Now, here they are. Fighting against Nega, only this time he put armor around his Eggmobile to keep them from damaging it. Sheesh, Egghead. You need to chill. Naruto mocked after dodging another one of those drones before he kicked one, and it turned into an image of Nega in his Eggmobile, making him attack it as it disappeared. You get even more angrier, then you're gonna get more wrinkles. Grrr, silence. Nega roared as he rushed at Naruto as the drones kept circling around him. Now Tails. Naruto shouted. Right. Tails got into his spin dash as he charged below the uncovered Eggmobile as he attacked it, make it shake. Stop that. Nega yelled as he turned to attack Tails, but screamed when Naruto attacked him using multiple homing attacks, dazing the mad scientists for a moment. Naruto and Tails soon grinned as they did a spin dash together and charged at the Eggmobile and knocked it back into a wall. The drones and armor around the Eggmobile exploded before there was nothing left, making Nega angry. Music ends. This isn't the end. Nega yells as he flew away. Don't think so. Naruto exclaimed as he and Tails gave chase. They jumped on top of a capsule, releasing the animals, before they exited Metropolis Zone. They look up in the sky and saw Nega flying up to a giant flying fortress. Naruto's eyes were narrowed while Tails' eyes widened. The Leaf Genin grabs Tails and puts him on his back. Hang on, little buddy. We getting the tornado and chasing after that fortress. Naruto's feet turned into a circular motion as he dashed off to the beach where the tornado was last left. Alright Tails, you pilot and I take the wing. Naruto said as he jumped on the wing of the tornado. Huh? You want me to fly it? Tails asked in a surprised tone. Of course. Naruto grinned as he gave him a thumbs up and wink. You say you're good with machines, right, pal? And you fixed up a tornado, so how about I give you the honors of flying it? Really? Tails asked. Yeah. I trust you, buddy. Naruto smiled happily, making the fox boy gasp in surprise. A full-blown smile soon appeared on Tails' face as he jumped into the pilot's seat. Alright. Leave it to me. The tornado's engine began to start and in a moment it took off flying high above the sky of West Side Island at a very fast speed. Music. Sky Chase Zone Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Yahoo! Naruto cheered. Way past cool. At this rate we'll be able to make to that flying fortress in no time. Naruto. Badniks up ahead, be careful. Tails called out. Naruto looks ahead, seeing a whole bunch of flying badniks and grins in excitement. He does a spin dash and jumps off the wing as he did a homing attack on the badniks close to him. He landed on a turtle badnik as he kicked the smaller one off. He grins again as he did another barrage of homing attacks on the badniks that charged at him. He stood on top of a eagle-like badnik and rode on it before he jumped off as it crashed into the other badniks. Yeah. Perfect score. Naruto cheers in the air as he did a flip and landed on the wing of the tornado. He looks back at Tails and wags a finger as Tails frowned at him. See pal. I'm perfectly fine. He looks ahead and his and Tails' eyes widened as they saw the flying fortress, and up close it was even more huge. That flying fortress is even bigger up close. Tails exclaimed. No problem. Naruto smirks as he cracked his fingers. I can take that. Naruto's eyes widened in comical shock as he tilted his body to the side, dodging a laser bullet, making Tails' eyes widen as well. Whoa. What the? Tails had to quickly maneuver the tornado so that he could dodge the incoming projectiles as they got closer and closer to the flying fortress. Once they got close enough, Naruto managed to jump and land on it, but a projectile hit the wing of the tornado, making him lose altitude. Music ends. Tails. Naruto yelled out as the tornado began to move away from the fortress. He tried to use his Spanish pesetas to bring them on board, but he couldn't as the projectiles continued to attack them. I can fix it. I can fix it. Tails exclaimed as he tried to control the altitude. It's a plane. You can fly. Leave it. Naruto called out, but Tails kept going further and further away. Tails. I can fix it. Was the last thing Naruto heard as he could only stare in wide eyes. Tails. Music. Wing Fortress owns Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The shadow loomed over Naruto's eyes as he shook in rage before he turned around and dashed forward, his eyes flashing red for a moment. As he traveled to the Wing Fortress, he destroyed all of the badniks that were there. He was jumping all around the place before he went inside. When he did and ran around, one of the doors suddenly went open and he found himself sucked outside, surprising him before he used his chakra to stick on the surface. When he saw another door, he grins as he jumped off of the fortress and kicked down, making him slide on the floor. He got off of it and grabbed onto a hook as it sent him flying down while he dodged the badnik's attacks. Once the hook reached its end he spin dashes down to the glass window, shattering it as he lands on his feet. He looks up, glaring at Eggman Nega, who only stood there smirking at him. Hound you doc. Naruto walks up to him, an angry look on his face. You got a lot to answer for, fat man. Gotcha. Nega pushed a button and a green energy wall appeared, keeping Naruto in place, who looks back and saw something similar. Didn't you try that trick back on South Island? Naruto asked, crossing his arms and tapping his foot. Yes. But this time, I'm going to slice you up. Nega exclaimed. Music. Boss Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Naruto looks behind him and saw spiky platforms come up from above, along with a laser beam to cut him down. He turns back Nega, grinning. Hold on for a moment. One of the spike platforms charged at Naruto, who quickly dodged it in time before he jumped on another one. He hops off of it and slides down under one. He immediately noticed how that laser beam kept making noises. He looks up and saw it was glowing blue before the laser beam fired. He also noticed how it was traveling towards him, making his eyes widen as looked around for any sort of escape. But there wasn't even enough room for him to dodge it, so he had to back up until his back touched the green force field. He looks up at the laser before he saw the laser stop, making him grin. He does a homing attack on it, making it crack, before he used his Spanish pesetas on one of the spiky platforms and threw it at the laser, making it along with the spiky platforms to explode. Naruto heard Nega's laughter and he turns to him, seeing he was going down. The force field disappeared a couple seconds. He grit his teeth before he destroyed the control panel using his homing attack and glares at it. That's for Tails. You knock him down, I send your fortress falling. Naruto jumps down the hole. Nega escaped too. He was now outside and he looks up seeing Nega flying away in a rocket. Eggman. He runs off but stops and watched as Nega flew away. Music ends. Shit. I'm going down with the ship. Naruto. Naruto looks back and saw Tails smiling up at him in a fixed tornado. A bright smile appears on his face. Tails. He hops on the wing. You're okay. I told you I could fix it. Tails laughed. Alright. You the man, lil bro. Naruto exclaimed. Haha, thanks. Tails smiled happily. Now let's get Nega. Naruto pointed at the flying rocket. Thrusters engaged. Tails exclaimed. The tornado began to catch up to the rocket as it reached higher and higher to the sky. The duo began to feel the tornado shake. Naruto. I can't keep it up. The thruster is giving out. Tails told him. Don't worry. Leave the rest to me. Naruto exclaimed as he jumped up and grabbed onto the wing of the rocket while Tails flew back down. The Leaf Genin's eyes widened as he saw they were heading into space. You gotta be kidding me. He took a deep breath and held it in as they left Earth's atmosphere and into space. Holy crap. Naruto had his eyes widen comically as he saw a massive metallic orb. What the hell is that? A space station or something? It almost looks like a large weapon. How long has Nega been working on that? He gained a deadpan expression as he saw Nega's face on the space station. It's so modesty designed too. Naruto's eyes were narrowed as they began to board inside it. It doesn't really matter to him anyway. He'll just have to break it down just like he did with Nega's other toys. But first. Naruto gave off a big gasp as soon as the rocket landed inside the space station and he let go of the wing. He looks up and saw Nega running away, making him shake his head as he stood up and walked after him. You know what? Tails is fine, and from the looks of things I'm gonna be here for a bit, so I'm not in a hurry. Naruto spoke up, putting his hands behind him. I'm still gonna kick your sorry ass for trying to kill me all those times and for what you did to the animals. Naruto looks out at the window in awe as he saw the earth down below. It was amazing. No, it was beautiful. So that's what his home planet looks like from above. Aw man. Naruto whispered. Such a nice view. If this place wasn't used for evil, it would have made a nice little tourist attraction. Wahahahahaha. Nega's laughter erupted from the speakers. Welcome to my death egg, Naruto, and to your doom. Death egg, huh? Naruto asked as he entered a room and the door closed behind him. Better name than Scrape Brain, so I'll give you that. He looks at a wall and saw Nega's face on the TV screen as his expression turned half-lidded. So this is why you wanted the Chaos Emeralds, to power up this thing. Where the hell did you even get the money to buy this stuff? Hate to see what your bills are like. Doke, well you still can, brat. Nega exclaimed as a grin formed on his face. I've been properly prepared for this moment. Music. Death Egg Zone Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Naruto rolled his eyes. Now where have I heard that before? Thud. The loud noise behind him made Naruto jump in the air as he looked back. He looks back and saw a big silver metallic spiky ball. The ball soon began to take shape as it started to get bigger in a humanoid shape, revealing it to be a badnik. Naruto's eyes widened as he saw that this badnik looks exactly like him. It had his spiky hair, though it was razor sharp, and it looked like a mohawk. It had his whisker marks though, it didn't have a mouth. It also had glowing red eyes as it glared down at him. Naruto moved back to dodge an incoming punch as it made a dent into the wall before moved to the side and stared at it in disbelief. Okay. A super badnik that's modeled after me. That's not creepy at all. Naruto commented. Hey. He jumped out of the way to dodge the badnik spin dash. That's my thing, copycat. He moved to the side as the badnik charged at him. This thing's got some raw power, doesn't it? But that means it lacks speed. Let's see you copy this. Naruto grinned as he did his signature jutsu. Shadow Clone Jutsu. 3 Narutos appear as they charged at the badnik just as it did spin dash at them. They jumped out and went to random directions before their hands had yellow energy. Chaos Spear. They shouted as they launched the attack, landing direct hits as it stunned the badnik. They grinned to each other as they did a homing attack, making dents appear around it. The badnik got out of its stunned state as it charged at them, destroying the clones. The badnik looks around in search for the original. I'm here. 3 Narutos suddenly appears around the badnik before they created small white and purple bubbles around themselves, and the badnik was instantly destroyed into multiple pieces. 2 Narutos disappeared as the original stood in place. I gotta think of a name for that technique. Naruto said as he looked at the result of the attack in awe. How about Chaos Smash? He grins. Yeah. Perfect. He looks to the way where the TV screen was at and saw Nega's shocked expression. Chaos Spear. Naruto launched a Chaos Spear at the wall, destroying it and revealing Nega, who ran away, making Naruto chase after him. Get back here. Nega looks back at Naruto with a grin before he jumps and waves at him, falling down into a hole as the door closed, showing it to be Nega's metallic face, making Naruto stop. Oh come on. Now what? Naruto yelled in annoyance. Now. Music. Death Egg Robot Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Naruto's eyes slowly widened in shock as a giant robotic mech suit that bears a heavy resemblance to Eggman Nega rose up from the floor and Naruto found himself tensing up, sweat beginning to run down his face as the mech began to move. Now you die. Nega exclaimed as the mech took a step, making Naruto step back. Oh shit. Naruto muttered. The Death Egg robot fired its arms at Naruto, who quickly dodged out of the way. Shadow Clone Jutsu. A whole army of Narutos appeared as they charged at the battle mech. You have been a real pain in my egg, Naruto. Nega exclaimed as the mech moved its arms around, destroying some clones and slamming the real Naruto to the ground as rings were knocked out of him. You have destroyed my precious badniks, humiliated me in our fights, and worst of all, you have taken all of the Chaos Emeralds from me. They were never yours to begin. Naruto exclaimed as he launched multiple Chaos Spears at the robot, only for them to get deflected and get sent into random directions as they destroyed the rest of clones. With their power, I could have ruled the world already and build my Eggman empire. Nega exclaimed as Naruto charged at him. The robot fired its arm at him, but he dodged it and ran on it. But you and that little sidekick of yours have been in my way. But not this time. Naruto's eyes widen as he got thrown off the arm and got caught as it slammed him hard into a wall, making him gasp in pain as rings came out of him. Once the mech released him, he fell into the ground and began to cough just as the mech began to fly upwards. Naruto runs forward as the mech fell down to where he was at. But then his eyes widened as he saw a bomb was in front of him, making him jump away before the explosion blew him into the window, making cracks form as he fell on the floor again. Naruto coughed and looks up at the giant mech in front of him. Once I kill you, the Chaos Emeralds will be mine, and when they are, no one, not your sidekick, not even your whole ninja village, will stop me. Nega mocked. The Death Egg robot raised its foot up to stomp Naruto like a bug. But instead of getting scared, Naruto grins confidently as he stood up and the foot slammed down onto him. Yes. Nega cheered but quickly noticed something as he saw glowing colors underneath the foot. Wow. You want these emeralds? Naruto asked from underneath the foot as he held a hand up, stopping the foot. He looks up at Nega, his eyes now red. The bright yellow light erupted from Naruto as it pushed the Death Egg robot away, making it fall on its back. It stood back up and its eyes went comically wide. What in the world? Nega asked. Music. Supersonic Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Naruto is floating above him and he is covered in a golden aura. His spiky hair is now upwards and it was more golden yellow as the crimson stripes were gone. However, the front part of his hair has 3 tufts sticking out. Each in different colors and were floating upwards. On the left side it was crimson, the middle was blue, and the right was white. His outfit is also turned yellow, aside from his shoes. The sign marks on his palms were glowing yellow. Naruto grins as he smacked his fists together. Allow me to give them to you, Super Naruto style. He zooms through the battle mech in a yellow flash for a second before going through it multiple times again before he lands on the ground. The Death Egg robot exploded after that before Super Naruto noticed the whole Death Egg started to explode. Ending 1. The Shining Road. Instruments. Uh-oh. I'm outta here. Super Naruto exclaimed as he flew off just as the explosions erupted from behind him and he was out of the Death Egg. The world around us is so magical. But now it's been placed under a spell. Down at Emerald Hill's own, Tails and the animals looked up at the sky, seeing the large explosion. The young boy quickly went to the tornado and waved goodbye to the animals before he took off flying. My love, come with me and together we shall search to find a charm. We'll travel to the land of our dreams where forbidden dreams just may come true. Up in space, Super Naruto started to fly back into Earth's atmosphere before he sighed in relief as he was back to the clear blue sky he always enjoyed. He looks all over his body in awe. So this is the power of the Chaos Emeralds. It was an incredible feeling. Is this what Sonic, Shadow and Silver felt when they used their power? Super Naruto soon frowned as he realized just how extremely these emeralds were if they allowed him to transform like this and the fact that guys like Eggman Nega are after them. Well, he won't let that happen. When we're alone tomorrow, we will sneak away and secretly meet. Up on top of a hill where there are birds everywhere and we can be all alone. Super Naruto blinked as he looked back and saw Tails flying the tornado with some birds following him. Super Naruto grins as he spins around the tornado while Tails looked in awe at that. The two continued to fly before they saw a nearby island and decided to head there for a well-deserved break. I know someday I'll hold your hand. While we sit alone in the morning mist. And the seal in our way of our shining road will be broken. Back on the ship, Blaze looks up as she, along with many of the people on the ship, saw the explosion in space, making her wonder what was that. And what was this feeling she just felt in her heart? The princess puts her hand to her chest and continued to stare at the sky. This feeling in her heart, there was just one thing that would make her heart feel like this. It was Naruto. It had to be. She just knew Naruto had something to do with what happened just now. Till the end of time. Blaze had a soft smile on her face as she shook her head. No way. Her excitement of seeing her best friend again is making her imagine things. She looks out into the clear blue ocean. What are you doing now? You big dummy. She giggled. Elsewhere. Insert song. My Sweet Passion Sonic Adventure. Inside a nice little house, it was dark except for a few lighted candles and a young girl is seen looking at her tarot cards. She gasps before she squeals in excitement. Yes. 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 I'm finally going to meet the hero of my dreams at Never Lake. She shouted happily before she ran outside her house. The girl looked between 11 to 12 years of age. Her eye color is green. She has pink spiky hair in the shape of spines and some tufts of it sticking out in the front. She wore an orange ruffled pleated skirt, a white shirt with puffed green sleeves, white and blue running shoes with orange shoelaces, white wrist-length gloves and a red hairband. She had a bright happy smile on her face as she runs to her red buggy vehicle. She starts the engine and drove off. Here I come, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto suddenly felt a chill run up his spine for some reason, making him become stiff. "What's the matter, Naruto?" Tails asked, noticing his best friend's stiff form. "I just had a creepy chill down my spine." Naruto replied in a stiff tone, while Tails tilted his head to the side in confusion. "Why do I get the feeling that something is going to happen soon?" "Oh, you have no idea, Naruto." So this part ends here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, so quickly like this video for second part of this series. And comment down below your thoughts about this series. And now it's time for me to go, bye.